All right, welcome to episode number 75 of the Let's Discuss Gaming podcast. I am your host, Triple J. Joining me is my co host, Dr. Games 101.
What's going on, guys?
And we got a couple of things we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. The Xbox showcase happened this week,
Oh yeah.
Ubisoft showcase happened right afterwards. So we're going to have a lot of topics to discuss. So you want to jump right in and
Oh
get
yeah.
started?
Oh yeah. This is
All right.
gonna this is gonna be interesting. That maybe that's not interesting year right this second, but next year is gonna be more interesting if the Starfield lightens up for this year though. So
All right, well, first story coming up. Uh, Nintendo Switch Online June 2023 update includes Harvest Moon, Kirby Tilt and Tumble, and more. Nintendo has announced four more games for the Switch Online subscription service, and all of them are live for members right now. The four games are Mystery Tower for Nintendo, Harvest Moon for Super Nintendo, Kirby Tilt and Tumble for Game Boy, and Blaster Master Enemy Below for Game Boy. Nintendo's also released a trailer highlighting these four titles, and you can check it out for yourself below. Here's what Nintendo has to say about each of these games. When you move, Kirby moves. This action game was released for the Game Boy Color system in 2001 and features the ever adorable Kirby in this game. It's all about how Kirby tilts and tumbles. This twist on classic Kirby gameplay adds new levels of fun. Kirby moves left, right, forward, and backward based on the movement of the system you hold in your hands. This version replicates the motion controls from the original Game Boy Color version. Tilt your Nintendo Switch system or controller to play. Go Kirby, go! Jason and his legendary battle vehicle Sophia are back again to save the world. Using the strong weapons and high jumping power of Sophia, Jason must head to subterranean regions and eliminate everything in his path. In narrow places, Jason can exit Sophia and move through catacombs on foot. In the catacombs, control Jason in top-down view and battle with guns and grenades. Swap in and out of your vehicle and adapt to the situation to succeed. Harvest Moon. Discover the roots of the farming simulator game in Harvest Moon. Take in the national beauty and breathe the fresh country air. Experience firsthand the down-to-earth goodness of life on a farm. Your challenge is to dig in and build your life as a farmer with old-fashioned hard work and dedication. You have a modest house, so it's going to take a remodel to woo a farming companion. Success in this game is measured by the fruits of your labor, so remember, you always reap what you sow. Mystery Tower. Use wit and skill to reach the top of the tower. This game launched for the Famicom in Japan in 1986 and is packed with puzzles and action. Play the role of archaeologist and explorer and set your sights on top of the tower. Clear stages by moving and rearranging mysterious stones to reach the exit and proceed to the next floor. Do any of these games excite you? Have you played any of these games?
I've heard of the Kirby Tilt and Tumble game many years ago when I was a kid, a teenager actually. Unfortunately, I hear that game Kirby Tilt and Tumble, it's like kind of like a pinball machine type of style of gameplay, right?
Well, they said that you're basically going to be moving the controller back and forth, tilting it in different ways to get him to move, which might turn off some people.
Yeah, because it's just a small screen, especially at that. So it's not like you don't have like it's interactive at the time. It was cool technology at the time back in the late '90s, the early 2000s, but it's not all that great after a while. So it's no thank you for Kirby. I'm sorry, but not this Kirby actually. Obviously, I was no thank you, but the other Kirby games I had to try out. The newest one was was one for the Switch that came out last year or two. That was pretty good. They kind of improved the gameplay in Kirby over the years, decades even. So
Yeah, so I like the Kirby games, but I'm more of a traditionalist. Kirby, sucking up powers, using enemies' powers against them.
oh yeah,
So that's so not I'm not that I wouldn't play Kirby Tilt and Tumble. It's just it's not the version that would excite me the most.
yeah,
Harvest Moon. I'm sorry, I find those games boring. I don't know why so many people like them.
yeah. For the casual
Blaster,
gamers.
yeah, Blaster Master Enemy Below. I played the original Blaster Master on Nintendo. I had never played a sequel. I didn't even know there were sequels, to be honest. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's just all right. Not, but again, like Blaster Master on Nintendo was not one of my favorites, so I don't know if I would like this one. And the last one, Mystery Tower. That's a really that's like a black horse of the or black sheep of the collection because I know nothing about it. I
Yeah.
mean, they said it was released in Japan, but that doesn't mean it was released here.
Hmm.
So that's how I feel about the four games. Ready to move on, or anything else to add?
I'm ready to move on.
All right, next. Oh, hold on. Okay. Next. Netflix highlights 5 new games coming to its platform, including Oxenfree 2, Lego Legacy, and more. Netflix has pulled back the curtains on 5 upcoming games coming to its gaming platform. Those games are Oxenfree 2, Lost Signals, The Queen's Gambit, Chess, Cut the Rope Daily, Lego Legacy, Heroes Unboxed, and Paper Trail. There are already 60 games on Netflix available to all subscribers, and these 5 games will join the lineup this summer. More specifically, Oxenfree 2 hits Netflix mobile, Switch, PS5, PS4, PC, and Mac on July 12th, while The Queen's Gambit Chess hits Netflix on July 25th. Cut the Rope Daily hits the platform on August 1st, and Lego Legacy, Heroes Unboxed, and Paper Trail are currently listed as coming soon. So let's see. I'm not going to play the trailers, but we'll read what it says about these games. Uh, it says alongside this new trailer, Netflix has released new information about each, which you can read below. First, Oxenfree 2: Lost Signals. Prom Night School, a Netflix game studio. Oxenfree 2: Lost Signals is the mind-bending follow-up to the critically acclaimed supernatural thriller Oxenfree. Set 5 years after the events of the first game, the game will take players on a gripping narrative-driven adventure featuring an all-new cast of characters and original story. Oxenfree 2: Lost Signals is set to launch on July 12th on the Switch, PS5, N4, NPC, and Mac via Steam and exclusively for Netflix members on mobile. The Queen's Gambit, Chess. Welcome to Beth Harmon's world. Take lessons, play puzzles and matches, or compete against friends in a stunning love letter to the award-winning drama. Beyond the chessboard, players can meet familiar faces like Mr. Scheibel and Borgov, visit iconic locations including Beth's house, the Methuen Orphanage, the Las Vegas Tournament, and more. From new beginners to chess masters, this immersive experience appeals to every type of fan. Available exclusively for Netflix members. Cut the Rope Daily. The Legend Omnom is back, and craving candy. In this new twist on the classic Cut the Rope game that has been downloaded more than 1.6 billion times, players will cut rope, collect stars, and pop balloons to defeat the beloved green monster with the sweet tooth. In this puzzle game featuring physics-based gameplay. For the first time ever, Cut the Rope Daily offers a new puzzle to solve every day. Available exclusively for Netflix members. Lego Legacy Heroes Unboxed. Lego Legacy Heroes Unboxed lets players collect and playfully battle with more than 50 characters from over 40 years of Lego minifigure history. Bringing together characters old and new, this game gives Lego fans a new way to play with the characters that they know and love. Build imaginative sets and assemble a team of familiar faces from Hot Dog Man to Princess Argenta and more to immerse yourself in a world full of action and the strategic battle RPG, available exclusively for Netflix members. Paper Trail. Paper Trail is a top-down puzzle adventure about leaving home set in a paper world. Players must fold their way through a diverse populated paper universe. As players progress, new gameplay opportunities emerge, enhanced by the following mechanics. Featuring fun and engaging characters and beautiful worlds to explore, this indie has already won more than 10 awards. Available exclusively on mobile for Netflix members, also coming to Nintendo Switch, PS5 and 4, PC, and Xbox Series S and X and S. Are you excited to check out any of these games?
Oxenfree, I heard about the first game many months, if not years ago so far. It was available on the Games with Gold, the first Oxenfree, so I
Yep.
downloaded it, but not just to play it yet of its fullness, so I can't say much about it still. One day I will do a gameplay of it on my own private session, Or can people on YouTube if people still see my channel. Um, as far as Lego Legacy, I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah.
It looks like it's okay to play on. You know, should be no problems at all. Uh,
Yeah. Got some here. Uh, Hold on.
be a minute, guys. You just take care of something in the meantime.
Your hospital discharged on June 9th. And this is a survey. Ugh. Okay, sorry about that. I'm back.
It's all right.
All right. So I know you played. So you haven't played Oxenfree. Have you played or heard of any of these other games?
Lego Legacy. I mean, I've seen the Lego games, evolve over the decades. Because they had Lego Star Wars, Lego Batman,
Mhm.
Lego Adventures, things that matter. So, I do have a collection of the saga, the Star Wars saga, and Batman and Batman Two, if I remember correctly, on my library. Unfortunately, I never played them yet. I will admit that too. It's just so
Of course,
weird.
of course, you didn't play them yet.
Yes, after all these years of owning them on my library, last time I checked, though, it just has so much games to choose from, and as well as maintaining the Apex Legends, tournaments. I'm taking part in it for months on it now. So, oh, excuse me, it's just my webcam. Because excuse me about that, guys. Sorry about that. That was uh, my wire, to my webcam and all. So,
Yeah, we're not trying to record Cloverfield here.
what he said?
We're not trying to record Cloverfield. That
Cloverfield.
was the That was the film with like the Statues of Liberty head falling off. They were shaking the camera. So many people that watched the movie got like sick afterwards
Oh wow.
because of all the camera shaking during the movie.
Right. Okay. Cloverfield. That sounds like a good movie to watch. But yeah, I'm sorry, guys. It's just that most of these games I heard of or I've seen them before at least once on the This Week on Xbox. I think I've been trying to look at least the This Week on Xbox every week for the last 3-4 years now because Midget Nelson always has some updates going on over there. So but it's just so hard to keep up lately now with everything going on. So especially in times of the Game Awards season as well as the E3, which is going on right now. So, you know,
Okay.
yeah.
Um, Me, I played Oxenfree all the way through. It's like a 6 hour game, so it's not terribly long. But I guess if you got like a boring day, the whole day open, and you have the game, you can play it. It'll probably come close to completing it if you don't complete it. Um,
Hmm.
Also, the Lego games. This sounds like it's more like the Lego Movie type, which, if you remember, I did not like. Um, but since Doctor Games 101 brought them up, the Lego Batman, the games like Lego Batman, Lego Indiana Jones, Lego Star Wars, those were really good games. That's what started the Lego franchise. Because then any other series that could be put in the Lego world, they did, and most of them are pretty good. I've played Lego. I beat the first Lego Batman. I beat the first Lego Indiana Jones. I never beat Lego Batman 2 or the second Indiana Jones. Um,
Okay.
so there's that. Also have Lego Pirates of the Caribbean, which if you like Lego games, it's a good game to play.
Hmm.
But like I said, those games are good. This sounds, but when it's Batman or Indiana Jones or Star Wars, you have interesting characters to use. I have no idea who the hell Princess Argenta is, so I'm not sure I would be, care about this Lego game.
Yeah.
Usually, it's the franchise behind that's been thrown into a Lego world that determines whether you'll like the game or not.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. So, and to wrap things up, I would only care about Oxenfree 2, but I just don't have a console to try it out on. If you have Netflix, and of course, I think if you have Netflix and you have a console that these games come out on, you'll be able to try out these games when they come out. Some have come out, or one or two have come out, and the rest are planned for either summer or further down the line.
Oh yeah, Oxfree 2 especially is over here to Netflix, and I have Netflix myself, so I just upgraded to the 2 screen plan, and that's like $15 a month right now because my aunt uses Netflix more than ever, along with my mom and I. So it's kind of like we have to share screens and all. And I should once they see that specific game, Oxfree 2, or at least I mentioned it to them, they want to play it themselves. Hopefully, even though the last time my mom ever played video games was like in Mortal Kombat 2. And we played it together in our room, in my bedroom, the other not the other year, but the many years ago, like back in 1995, 96. It was so many years, decades ago. I was like 7 or 8 years old until we played Mortal Kombat 2 together. She was still learning the controls and stuff. So
My mom never really played games. The only game, the last time she played a game was actually back in New York when she found out I had a PlayStation 3 game of Press Your Luck
okay,
because we were fans of the TV show, so she wanted to see that game. She enjoyed the game. My father, when I was much younger, back like in the 90s, 95, 96, he used to play video games. It's not always, once in a blue moon.
hmm
But yeah, so. But anyway, ready to move on?
yeah, let's do it. Let's go on.
All right. Next. TMNT Shredder's Revenge Dimension Shell Shock DLC adds Usagi Yojimbo. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge keeps the Ninja Party going with the reveal of its Dimension Shell Shock DLC. Launching later this year, this upcoming add-on takes the Turtles and their friends through time and space on new threats with the help of a familiar ally. Monin Rabbit Usagi Yojimbo joins the game as a playable character. The Samurai Warrior has starred in his own self-titled comic series since the 80s, but many mainstream fans are likely familiar with him from his numerous crossover appearances in TMNT media over the decades. This trailer shows off Usagi's formidable prowess with his katana, such as piercing through multiple foes with a single sword thrust. Dimension Shell Shock also adds an unspecified new game mode, new tracks from composer The Lopes, and a fresh set of color schemes for the playable roster. Shredder's Revenge is also getting another separate free update that adds another batch of color palette options. We'll have to wait to learn more about Dimension Shell Shock, but we're excited to get our hands on it given this exceptional base game. You can read more about our thoughts on TMNT Shredder's Revenge by reading our review here. So, are you familiar with this rabbit character? Have you ever seen him before?
I can't recall. It's so many years ago I watched the original 1990s TV show. Uh, I can't remember anything
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. I used to be a big fan of the cartoon series, like when I was 6 or 7.
hmm
But I'm just drawing a blank when I see that katana wielding rabbit. I mean,
The only thing I remember
uh,
is the way they showcase April. That's about it, you know.
oh, jeez. I,
Yeah, they made April look very appealing. You know, that's a tough girl
yeah,
at the same time, very feminine and all. That's like almost every guy's dream right there.
not like Nickelodeon that made her a child.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. And April is I heard the newest TMNT series has like this. April has a mixture of black and lesbian and overweight a little bit. It's kind of weird scenario. It looks different, and you know, than the other previous
Of course, they
games.
got they got to bastardize everything.
Yes.
Um,
uh,
but to change topics, yeah. So I mean, Shredder's Revenge. We did. I think we played the story mode. There was a
yes.
story in arcade mode. I think we did the story mode together, right?
Yeah, I still have a record of it on my Twitch channel.
Okay, and the yeah, so like we always meant to go back to the arcade mode, just never did. But I'm happy that they're adding new characters and new levels. So you know, and if you checked out TMNT Shredder's Revenge and you think you got everything, experienced everything there is, there's going to be more to experience down the line. We don't know when this new fighter and new levels will be coming out. So, but we'll keep you updated as we hear about it.
Definitely.
Anything else? Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
I'm ready to move on from April and all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Star Wars. Yeah, I'm not touching that subject.
It's okay.
Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 restored content DLC canceled on Switch. Aspyr is offering a free Star Wars game for those who bought the game. Aspyr has announced that the restored content DLC for Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords on Nintendo Switch has been canceled. In a recent Twitter post, the studio thanked the Knights of the Old Republic community for its immense passion and continued support before revealing that the planned DLC for Knights of the Old Republic 2 is no longer in development. Sadly, today we're announcing that the restored content DLC for the Nintendo Switch version of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords, will not be moving forward for release, Aspyr said. Aspyr didn't provide the reason behind the sudden cancellation, but has promised players who purchased Knights of the Old Republic 2 prior to the announcement a free game to make up for the news. We'd like to thank everyone for their continued support by providing a complimentary video game key to players that purchased Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 The Sith Lords on Nintendo Switch before this announcement, Aspyr said. Players are able to choose from a selection of Star Wars games, including the Steam version of Knights of the Old Republic 2. The remaining games on the list are only available for Switch, including Knights of the Old Republic, The Force Unleashed, Republic Commando, Jedi Knight Academy, and more. If you're asking me, I'd get The Force Unleashed. In order to redeem your free game, users need to visit support.aspyr.com and submit a request with your Nintendo Switch proof of purchase attached. The restored content DLC was a fun volunteer effort to mod missing Knight of the Old Republic 2 content that was approved by Aspyr in 2015. Modder ZBYL2, an original programmer who was part of the effort, took to the Knight of the Old Republic subreddit via Eurogamer following the announcement to say Aspyr did nothing wrong. Quote me on that. Shame it ended the way it did. The modder explained to users who have been sharing their theories that the cancellation had nothing to do with higher ups not wanting to give credit to the modding team, adding that Aspyr was great to work with and they offered to credit the whole team long before he even asked about it. There have been issues with third-party Switch games recently, with Midnight Suns being canceled and Hogwarts Legacy being delayed multiple times. Aspyr is currently working on Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake for PC and PS5. The game is reportedly 2 years away, according to parent company Embracer Group. So, what do you think of this DLC being canceled?
That is kind of weird on Nintendo's part for that to occur because, I hear that the Knights of the Old Republic remake or the remaster is supposed to come out sometime this year or next year. Last time I checked, so that's like just in that right. Like if they can reinstate it in the next few months, by the time that the remake happens and the remaster happens, then they might get some sales going on on their platform, especially if it's exclusive to their platform. But at this rate, though, it's like what's the point after a while getting into the Switch right this second? In a sense of like urgency, like you really need Nintendo Switch now. Like it's just there's this because they screwed up on the Nintendo Online system service where you have to pay like $50 to $80 a month depending upon how many people you ask for per account. So it's kind of like like is it really worth it to get a Switch right away? They wait till like there's like a Black Friday sale at the last couple of years of Nintendo Switch's life cycle, because Nintendo Switch has been around since 2017. and it's 6 years old, the system, so it's kind of like it's at the end of its life cycle in a sense of like timing,
Right.
so they're not really doing anything good to keep up with the competition with Xbox and Sony. Yes, by default they're the most sold console in a while in this generation, in a sense. But overall performance of its lifetime, Nintendo, it's not really that great, in its long term. Short term, yeah, every console that came out since 1990, 91, whatever, but not like this. So it's you know.
Yeah, it's funny. The Switch is the successor to the Wii U, and
Mhm.
the Wii U had its own problems, basically marketing. But it seems like the Switch has its own problems with trying to get games out there.
Yes.
And I just don't know why. Have you played a lot of the games they mentioned? Force Unleashed, Jedi Knight Academy, Republic Commando. They were actually, I think we got them with games with gold.
Yes,
Have
we
you
did.
played any of the Star Wars games?
I collected all of them. I had Knights of Republic. I had Battlefront 1 and 2. I think there's a shooter game as well. Last time I checked.
Republic Commando.
Yeah, I think I got all three or four of them. Those games were on the games of
Yeah,
gold over the years. I
yeah.
never just played them not at this rate, so it's like, yes, of course. I'm a slave.
Well, from what we're offered and like what they mentioned, the only games I didn't see listed were the Battlefront games, which isn't a surprise, especially with the PS4, Xbox One versions being made, and then Star Wars Obi-Wan, which I heard was terrible.
the TV show on the Disney Plus, right?
No, 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 Star Wars Obi-Wan. I think it was like I don't know. I've never actually played it, but it was one of the Xbox games offered along with Republic Commando, Jedi Knight Academy. The Force Unleashed 2, I think, was a game with gold.
Yes, it was.
I'm
Both
not.
both 1 and 2. Force
Oh,
Unleashed.
both 1 and 2. Okay, so I do. Okay, yeah. So all these Star Wars games were games, or most of them were games with gold. Battlefront was 1 and 2, the Xbox PS2 versions. Um, So yeah, like I said, of the games they're offering that they mentioned, I would say get the Force Unleashed or the Force Unleashed 2.
Oh yeah, I seen the last 45 minutes to an hour gameplay of Force Unleashed 2. It was pretty interesting because you go up against Darth Vader for a good while, very while. Like, it's kind of one of the longest boss battles you go up against in any game ever in history. Because Darth Vader basically switches from platform to platform. You got to catch up to the other platforms with him and stuff. It was amazing. I should play it myself one day, but it was from one of those YouTubers. I forgot their name already, but it was a good stream he did. The other
Not to mention you
episode.
could level up powers and stuff like that.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, I beat Star Wars: The Force Unleashed 2 on Games with Gold. I never got the DLC because even if a game with gold has DLC, you have to play it like on 360 or if it's an original Xbox game, the original Xbox to get the extras.
Hmm.
So I beat the base game as The Force Unleashed 2, never played the DLC. But yeah, I think of the games we heard that they're offering people who purchase Knights of the Old Republic 2, the Sith Lords, I'd recommend getting that one if you're getting a free Star Wars game.
Oh yeah.
Anything else to add or ready to move on?
That's all I got to say for this one.
Okay, next. All right. E3 killed E3, says Summer Game Fest Jeff Keighley.
Hmm.
SGF host, producer Jeff Keighley, refuted claims that the show is to blame for the death of E3. In a recent VGC podcast interview, Summer Game Fest host producer Jeff Keighley hit back against claims that SGF is responsible for the death of E3, the Entertainment Software Association's seemingly defunct but once very popular annual gaming expo. I think E3 sort of killed itself in a way, Keeley said, when Expo shows a reputation as the source of E3's downfall. I understand why people say I killed E3, but I think if anything, We created Summer Game Fest and built Summer Game Fest because I saw the wheels falling off the wagon of E3. Keeley created Summer Game Fest in 2020 after the COVID pandemic led to E3 2020's cancellation. Ideas for a virtual event were entertained by the ESA but never materialized. After the cancellation of E3 2021 and 2022, Summer Game Fest popularity only grew. As a live-streamed online showcase from the start, SGF had managed to put together a safe, functional gaming showcase that was more accessible to the general public than E3 had historically been. E3 was part of my life since I was a 15-year-old kid, Keeley said on the podcast, making it clear he had no ill will towards the event or the organization behind it. From the first E3 in 1995, I went to every show. I loved it, and it defined my summer. Keeley also made clear that he was sad to hear of E3's late fate, especially after the 2023 show's recent cancellation was announced. E3 was so exciting to me, and it was heartbreaking to see that start to fall apart, Keeley shared. I think they have a relevancy problem, and then they also had a participation problem over the final years. Though E3 hasn't officially nixed plans for a potential 2024 showcase, it's beginning to look less and less likely, especially as more publishers and developers imitate Nintendo's popular Nintendo Direct Showcase, which provide a closer look at upcoming games to players and press members alike. Sony and Xbox have followed in Nintendo's footsteps, creating their own respective showcase and giving each publisher a bit more control over what the public sees. Microsoft will be hosting two this weekend with the Xbox Game Showcase and Starfield Direct. Because of this, it seems that regardless of SGF's existence, E3's downfall left a power vacuum that would have been filled one way or another. SGF just happened to get there first. Without SGF, things could have arguably gone much worse for the world of gaming showcases. Yeah, I think the question is, if we didn't do Summer Game Fest, what would happen, Keeley said. I think things would have just kind of really splintered apart this summer. And Summer Game Fest started at 3 p.m. Eastern on June 8th, which was a little over a week ago. So, what do you agree with what Jeff Keeley said about E3 killing itself due to relevancy?
I wouldn't say kill itself entirely. It's part of it, yes, but it's just basically the trends happening, if you want to call it like that. I like to call it, where the pandemic kind of shifted everything from in person, in relevancy to constant daily grind on the streets type of matter. Like, yeah, I go here, I go there. Now we have the internet. You don't have to go to too many places at all at this rate because everything can be online. With certain content and entertainment, news and information. So it's a mixture of everything going on with it. That E3 basically is like go the way of let's say Blockbuster at this rate, and because Blockbuster was relevant in the 1990s and earlier for how many decades? It was the go-to for movies and TV shows and demo discs of certain games and other entertainment. And now it's E3 is kind of in that position as well, where it's what's the point of going to E3's event? Where at one point E3 is for the insider people, the ones that are into making games, into programming, marketing. It was like an inner circle of events, not for the public necessarily. Yes, it's broadcasted by Xbox's E3 conference for how many years on Xbox's systems and PlayStation systems as well, I bet, and on YouTube as well, especially. But then after 2020, it was we needed to save some money as each company, each game company, each of its conferences, like the Nintendo, Ubisoft, Bethesda before they got acquired by Microsoft. So it was it was meant to be. So
yeah, I think not so much relevancy, but I think the pandemic basically killed E3 because E3 was basically hanging on by a thread. Say let's go back to 2020 and say the pandemic did not happen.
Right.
Who's to say E3 wouldn't have been suffering the same fate 5-10 years from now, if not sooner?
Yeah.
So I think, if anything, the pandemic spread up the death of E3 or at least putting E3 on life support. With the Summer Games Fest and with people show with companies able to put their own events together where they don't have to rent out a giant space, to host E3 for the weekend or whatever. It makes sense to just do a virtual presentation, um, and let people, whoever wants to see it. Because if people can't go to E3, at least at these showcases, they can go and see at the showcases that they care about,
Oh yeah.
and you don't have to spend money on a hotel and transportation and all that other stuff. And I mean, I think so. I think it was something that was going to happen either way, but it's sped up. It was sped up thanks to the pandemic.
Not only that the E3 is by the way the dodo bird, but also GameStop as well. A comparison to that trend as well within 2020, 2019 time, and because I was since the
Well,
pandemic and all, it was relevant where you go to hear about E3 news through their Game Informer magazine. Now it's like you get the news on the internet without buying a subscription. Sometimes I say this. Game Informer does have some good stuff to look at, but at this rate, though, instead of being monthly magazines, like every 2 months, 3 months, if not 4 months, depending upon how often you subscribe for how often subscription with these magazines in the casing. Because I have the newest one, Diablo 4, as you can see on here. This is from the other issue 355. So I was just read this magazine. It's been about 2 weeks I got this magazine. But it's just that I don't have to always go on the internet to find things. At the same time, it is what it is. The majority of the populace out there, the ones who are younger, they're more into the quick fixes, the quick videos of TikTok, and also E3 is just basically like a show for 40, 35 plus year olds. In a sense.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, E3. If you were going to E3, you weren't going to E3 just for the gaming convention. You were going for the convention experience.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for people who just want to sit back and find out what's happening with their favorite developers, why not do it from the comfort of your own home?
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. But to mention GameStop, they had their own problems. The really death nail was when they started selling bootleg retro video games, because the people bringing in these retro video games couldn't tell a difference between a real and a fake.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had a Conker's Bad Fur Day with a red cartridge on N64. Conker's Bad Fur Day was a gray cartridge N64 game.
The original. Yeah.
Even I know that.
The original, definitely.
The only red cartridges on N64 were either Jeremy McGrath Supercross or All Star Baseball. So,
Oh yeah.
that's what killed GameStop in a related manner. Because if GameStop had taught people how to spot fakes, then maybe the retro game market would have saved GameStop. Because yeah, true, you can order a say WWF No Mercy from eBay, pay $50, and wait 2 weeks for it to get to your home, or you can just go to GameStop, buy it, and take it home with you. If so, it's just people tried to scam GameStop. Uh, GameStop was like Mr. Magoo in the world of retro video games, and they got taken advantage of until they said, "Screw it, kill this project."
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
I still remember the stories like years ago about like how fake games were basically being sold, and it wasn't just one or two here or there. It was like almost an every week occurrence when GameStop was accepting retro games. So
Yeah. If we can also add to another factor too, the fact that E3 at one point, I don't know. It sounds like a conspiracy theory I'm coming up with. Maybe back in the 2000s, that was the last decade of like the full experience, in person experience of gaming, like whether it's from the conventions to to demo disc to certain wiring you need, certain devices you need to connect to your certain devices, whatever. Now after 2010, 2011, 2012, and up until 2015 and beyond, it's this transformation of like the smartphone definitely created this all in one experience now. Now you have everything on your phone. Everything's on your phone now, literally, and it's like you don't have to go to E3 just to go to see what's out there. Now you have the phone and you just do whatever you want to do with it. It's just it's amazing me. Like I haven't had a smartphone until like 2019. And I realized that by the time I got the newest smartphone for my track phone services, which is the Motorola G style or no G6, it was somewhere around there, the Motorola G series, and I was like, wow, this is very high tech and all these devices and all. It's amazing. Like the E3, it's just obsolete now at this point. Because any person in the United States, especially the world, can make their own little E3 style type of event as well via the internet. Like you can start your own gaming company or your own studio or your own anything, or both. Make sure both. Like you be like the next Nintendo, if ever. So it's all up to the person, the businessmen, the investors, even especially the developers. So yeah.
Yeah. So that's so I think E3. Bottom line, E3 was basically on life support. Just no one knew it yet until the pandemic happened.
Definitely.
Ready to move on?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how gaming's gonna be for the next 10 to 20 years from now.
Yeah, but instead you're probably gonna have what I think is gonna happen. You're gonna have like all these little showcases start, happening. Xbox has theirs, Nintendo has theirs, Bethesda has their, well, not Bethesda, but
At one point, it was Bethesda.
at one point they had theirs. You'll have one by Xbox, one by Nintendo, one by Sony, one by Ubisoft, and basically they're all gonna try to be the next E3.
Oh yeah.
You know, take concentrating on what works, but try to become bigger than the rest. Ready to move on?
And about GF Kelly before we go, GF Kelly, that he's the host as well as regulator of the Game Awards show that happens every December, right?
Yep.
Okay, I remember that moment that from the last Game Awards show at the very end with that kid on stage saying about Bill Clinton and the rabbi and stuff. That was funny.
I missed that.
Yeah, you have to. It should be on YouTube somewhere. It was crazy. Like I mean, I wasn't processing it well. I was like, "Who is this kid on TV saying this shit?" And all of a sudden, like 5 minutes later, I'm like, what did I just watch at the end? He came in so smoothly on stage with those guys, the developers and all. I thought he was just like a student or perhaps a
A
son
midget?
or a son. Or a son to some father that brought his son to the award show with as developer or whatever.
You thought maybe he was a little. You thought maybe he was a little adult person.
Not a little dope, but like like a student of some developer or a prodigy or something like that. I don't know. You never know, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure they have them out there where they have like these 12-year-olds making like game sets from scratch for no problem, or have a team of other 12-year-olds do the same thing, but they're more advanced than the 30, 40, if not 60-year-olds like Miyamoto of Nintendo and all. So, that's what I'm thinking of. So, okay, that's all
Well,
I say.
I'm more familiar with Jeff Keighley. Spike TV used to have game. They first called it Game Head, and then they called it Game Trailers. Jeff Keighley was the host. Like one episode of Game Head I really remember is when they were showcasing the first Family Guy video game for PlayStation 2. They had, and Jeff Keighley was host, but they had the Adam West. They had the guy who played, I think, Chris. They had Seth Green, who played, I think, Chris's voice, and the woman who played Meg's voice. But it was mostly Jeff Keighley and Adam West the whole time.
Okay.
And they were showcasing different levels from like different, like the first few levels of the new Family Guy video game that was coming out for PS2 at the time. That's the episode of Gamehead and Game Trailers I remember the most. That's how I remember Jeff Keighley. It was a tradition. I forget when it was on, but like every night was like every week, whatever night it aired, like at 11 p.m. or midnight, whatever. I was watching Gamehead at the time, so.
Yeah, rest in peace, Adam West. He died back at least 2 or 3 years ago last time I checked. So.
Yep.
I'm ready.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
If anything, I would love to have Jeff Keighley come on our show for a guest appearance.
Oh well, that'll be like a price on our head up for him right now.
Yeah, we'll never be able to afford it. So
Maybe one day we will when we become rich and famous on our own accord. And here, right,
Right.
guys? It's up to you, audience. Yeah.
All right, next. Madden NFL 24 release date, franchise, superstar mode, and more. This game's reveal was a foregone conclusion, of course, but the details are always worth diving into. Madden NFL 24 has officially been revealed by EA, giving football gamers the annual fix of the only NFL sim on the market. This year's game is dedicated to the foundational football, said senior design director Connor Dugan in an interview with GameSpot, which of course translates to many different aspects of the game getting addressed. In addition to that, franchise players have several new features to look forward to, and this nostalgic superstar mode makes its return with a greater emphasis on molding your own NFL athlete across an entire career. Here's everything you need to know about Madden 24. Beta time, start time, and how to play. Before we get into the details, some players are already sold on the game simply because it's the newest Madden. We know how you feel, so if all you care about are the beta details, hang tight as EA has not yet revealed the beta start time. We know there will be one, however, as the team previously announced it. As soon as we know more, you'll find it right here in this section. The beta will likely kick off this month, June, if past years are any indication. Madden 24 release date. Madden NFL 24 launches on PC, Xbox Series, and PS5 on August 18th. Those who pre-ordered the deluxe edition will get full game access 3 days sooner on August 15th, along with additional virtual items. Madden 24 cover star. This year's cover athlete is Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen. Upon hearing the news, several Bills have excitedly jumped through tables, we assume. Okay? Madden 24 gameplay changes. Last year, FieldSense system reworked the fluidity of gameplay. Well, that's putting it lightly. And this year's game seeks to expand on that with tweaks to wide receivers who will do a better job of catching the ball in stride, like on passes using the skill-based passing system. This should make it so receivers don't need to slow down to make a well-placed catch. New diving catches and no-look passes among other new animations are meant to further diversify what players will experience on the field play after play. On defense, new wrap tackles, scoop tackles, and hit stick animations will help do the same. Madden developer EA Tiburon says the focus on foundational football affects most every aspect of the game. New blocking logic, which EA calls the tactical blocking system, is said to allow linemen to identify blocking assignments more intelligently. If this works well, it would address one of Madden's most viral complaints. Additional logic and animations in this regard will allow for chip blocks, linemen branching in and out double teams on the fly, and pushing the pile. Collectively, this is meant to enhance the running game specifically. All behaviors are getting some improvement, too. EA said that CPU quarterbacks will now use the skill-based passing system, which was added last year but not utilized by AI opponents. And defensive backs will now react more quickly to balls they can see, such as on slants and crossing patterns. Inversely, they will react more slowly to balls behind their backs. In total, this is meant to increase the number of breakups and interceptions on those hard-to-cover cut patterns, while also lowering the number of times DBs seem to have a sixth sense for the ball when their back is to the play. Fumble animations have also been added in an effort to create more realistic pile-ups, as well as a new scoop and score animations. Onside kicks have also received new bouncing ball physics, which may make them more winnable for the kicking team, although hopefully they remain as low percentage of play as they are in real life. An oddity among the game's major bullet points new features is what EA is calling sapient technology. Dugan told me it represents the team's rework of the player skeleton system, something he added that hasn't been done in years because it's such a big undertaking. With the skeletal overhaul, Dugan said, you can see more differentiations in terms of player size, athleticism, and then the advantage is that this skeleton, now that it has better proportions, it makes our animations look a lot smoother. It sounds as though this is more than a cosmetic alteration, and I'm eager to get my hands on the game and try it for myself. I can't say the same for me. FieldSense definitely improved animations and fluidity of movement last year, and it sounds like Sapien will further enhance the part of the game provided all goes well as the team intends. For the first time in the series, Madden will allow for crossplay, though there are a few wrinkles to the that to be aware of. We broke down this further in the Madden crossplay guide. Franchise mode and changes and new features. For some players, the only mode that matters is franchise. EA has been touting the addition of new commissioner tools for a while now, and the change coming to Madden 24 were curated with the help of the community. Commissioners will now be able to tweak the relationship between age and XP. Currently, younger players need much less XP to earn skill points, and those milestones increase a player's age, but these specifics will now be customizable. Regression sliders will also be changeable, giving a commish the ability to fine-tune the age at which players start to lose a step or two. They will also be able to turn off M factors, the game's way of simulating home field advantage and momentum that was added a few years ago but hasn't always been enjoyed by the community. A maddening, no pun intended, current feature, which honestly thought was a bug, has been the way the game reorders your depth chart whenever you'd make a roster move, such as signing or releasing a player. That now has its own toggle, as you can make moves without resetting your depth chart to the game's default expectations each time. Contract restructuring arrives this year in the form of reducing a player's salary to the league minimum and spreading out the difference to the player's bonus money across remaining years. Expanded trade slots allow the bigger Russell Wilson-like trades are also debuting in Madden 24. Commissioners will be able to customize the number of free agency bids that can be placed per team per free agency period. Play cooldowns, which have been in the game previously, can now be set for offense and defense individually. As Dugan told me, damn, this is how much? Okay, I was starting to think like this article looks a lot longer than I thought. As Dugan told me, responding to community requests like these was a big point of emphasis. Another was expanding coach trees. In Madden 24, offensive and defensive coordinators, as well as head coaches, will now have an additional skill tree to unlock as players progress through their franchise mode. Another change for the GM-minded players comes during the NFL draft. While the scouting system seems to be unchanged from Madden 22's overhaul, draft classes have been expanded to include more player variety, including a few archetypal drafters who may be clones of legendary players, some who may possess 99 rated attributes like break tackles even as a rookie, and added position players who may be drafted at one spot but thrive in another, like the QB turn WR trajectory we see some players follow. These players will remain rare. Dugan told me, but some players can be found at least some of the time now that there are 50 new and unique draft generators added to Madden 24. The team has also decided to bring back and expand mini-games, including weekly practice drills, which had become automated in recent years. Players will still be able to choose focus players each week, but the process of improving them will be done manually like it used to be. Additionally, training camp has been added to the game, giving franchise players more activities to do between regular seasons. Lastly, for players who prefer to move their teams and start fresh in a new city with a new team name and jerseys to match, 32 new fake franchises have been added to the game as options when you're packing up and heading out of town for new horizons. For such fantasy-minded players, a snake draft option has been added to fantasy drafts, finally mirroring the popular draft method of fantasy football players. And lastly, Madden 24 Superstar Mode returns. Face of the franchise is out for Madden 24. Replaced with the mode that it itself once replaced. Superstar Mode is back, and Dugan told me that reverting to the name wasn't just for nostalgia, though that was part of it too. For the last couple of years, we looked at Face of the franchise, like, what can it really be? And we were like, well, it can be a modernized version of Superstar, Dugan said, and we felt like we want to switch the name, but we don't want to switch it until it's right. Players will create that superstar, perform combined skills, which in turn affect their draft status. Once you're on a team, a moment-to-moment grading system will provide more feedback in every game in a way that sounds similar to NBA 2K's My Player grading system. If you're throwing into coverage, or if you're a DB and you're not covering a guy, you get that moment-to-moment feedback, Dugan told me. New tailored abilities also sound a lot like NBA 2K's popular badge system, and players can take their superstar in Superstar Showdown, a revamp of the Yard for 3 versus 3 or 6 versus 6 games against other players online. So, what do you think of Madden 24? Do you even care?
I haven't really owned any Madden games or play any Madden games at home. or with friends since like the early 2000s. To be honest with you, so it's like because ever since Madden, because I hear bad things about Madden since 2010, 2011, since then, and every year since 2011, 2010 especially, uh, it was the same recycled mode, same recycled uh, events, and the worst part of it was the microtransactions, where we get paid for in order to build up your team, build up your character, your football player, etc., etc. And I'm like, wait a second, was this for free back during the 2000s, back with like Madden 2005 and Madden 2000 and stuff like that for the Dreamcast and for PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3. Like during those times, those are the best times of the Madden games or sports game, any sports game to be honest with myself. And I can, so one person can attest this. He's a public figure. Everyone knows about the name of Angry Joe. And every year since 2013, 2014, I didn't see every single Madden movie he did, but for the last two or three Maddens, he was pissed off severely.
Yeah,
And
I saw him covering Madden 24 himself. So
yeah, he was like, this is the same thing. And I'm like, God damn, he's right. He's like the giver of the gaming community. You ever saw that movie before, The Giver?
I read the book.
Yeah. So to those who are out there, I'm well aware of the Giver is. Basically, it's like a based on a book from God knows how long ago, and I never,
God knows how long ago. That narrows it down.
yeah, because I never heard of it until after high school. I never read the book, so I watched the movie back in 2015, 2014. So that was a good movie. So it had Jeff Bridges in it as the star host, and basically it's about one guy out of like the entire society has all this knowledge and reasoning and emotional immaturity, you want to call it like that, that causes societal collapse or societal problems, whatever. And so the rest of society close off from that, all that knowledge, all that reason, all that um, free thinking, you want to call it like that. So Angry Joe's kind of like that in a sense where he's the giver of the gaming community, where he's showing you every single year for the last 5 years of how bad Matt has gotten. And it looks
How bad
bad.
and how repetitive.
Yes, and it gets worse and worse every year too. By if you watch this 2015 of Angry Joe, or I say 2018, give or take, right before the pandemic. But just the pandemic, it was like, what the hell, man? That's just ridiculous. That's pathetic. That's thank goodness I haven't bought any Madden games for the last 15 years, almost, if not ever. It's last time I played a Madden game with friends was like at least since like 2004, 3 or 2, 2002, 2003 maybe. And since then, I was like, I'm not into football like that or basketball. If they have a bowling game, for all I care. I mean, that's or I play the bowling game. But it's to the point where it's like, the franchise, especially after this is what happened to the last year with Madden being passed away and all, it's an insult. It was an insult to
Yep.
Madden's death and all during those last few years, and into the year of his death when they tried to sell it, his name, his actual face on the name again, first time in almost a decade. It feels like it. So it's baffles me. It astonished me. The creators of Madden should be ashamed of themselves for doing all those microtransactions. It should be free part of the game and all. The only thing that they should do for like microtransactions, the skins, like the material design or of each team, whatever. That's about it. Other than that, you're telling people to prop up their team during was it career mode or franchise mode. Like that's stupid. And people just eat up no matter what every year for God knows how many years now. And thank God for our Uncle Joe for sharing his past transgressions and pain and suffering over the years too for showing this every year. And we have a record of it. And they should be ashamed of themselves, the makers. So
Yeah, Madden 20, Angry Joe, like I said, I saw his video. He said the models look completely the same as Madden 23, which he even showed Madden 24, Madden 23 character models. They do look exactly the same. So I don't know what the skeletal technology, sapient technology is really doing, if anything.
mm-hmm.
Um, the superstar, like the 3 versus 3, 6 versus 6, Angry Joe said no one likes that, but of course they're going to continue trying to push that down people's throats. So yeah, the the last game I actually went out and bought, and this was a long time ago, and I only bought it because I got it for like $5 or $6, was Madden 19, and I got that like a couple of years ago. And the only reason I got it was because so I had an Xbox One football game.
Right.
So it's not like I mean the only I did play I have to admit I played Madden 21 and 22 on Game Pass, but that's only because they were available on Game Pass. I have no problem going back to Madden 19 and playing the and I got Madden 10 for PlayStation 3. That I'll never be without those games because I have like 5 copies for PlayStation 3 over there. But well, they no one buys them. It's
Right.
funny. Everyone buys the Xbox 360 Madden games, but not the PS3.
I wonder why.
Yeah. So yeah. So I mean, yeah. These Madden should be ashamed of itself. It's just another money grab. Um, but unfortunately, as long as they keep making money, that they have no reason to change.
And I understand they're trying to make some money, the makers are mad, and I understand the feeling, business is business, I'm starting to see that in my classes I attend online for the last 3 years up until this past January, the 4 Ps in marketing and things that matter, and, the equivalency of exchange, et cetera, et cetera. But, can we at least keep it, rolling with the content being refreshed and very renowned? Every now and then, every couple of Maddens, I just got to repeat things over and over every year, but side to side. But can we at least have some sort of constant creativity flow in these games? And if I could see something distinct in the future Madden games, which Madden 24, which is not to happen right now, but the next Madden game and beyond, if they could make some sort of a you know different of a game to make appeal to me as a newcomer or first timer in decades now. It's been 15 years, like I said, I haven't played a batting game, and it'd be an honor to see something different and buy that game for myself and play for hours like I do with Apex or with Halo, Devil May Cry, But then again, those games are a separate audience, of course. So I don't really fit into the sporting sheep. They call us, the black. It's called the whales. They call these people whales when they spend hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars on microtransactions, and they make $1 billion last year just in Apex alone over these microtransactions, not some other game. Last time I checked, so it's just astonishing. Like those are the people who are very just you can't save them. They'll spend whatever they want
Yeah.
to spend.
I have to say, the people who spend like tens of thousands, like thousands or tens of thousands of dollars on microtransactions, I always never understood it because, like, say you buy enough packs to have the best team, the best fantasy team in Madden 23. When Madden 24 comes out, you're going to pay full price for Madden 24, and none of the things you purchased in Madden 23 carry over. So you're starting at square one again, and you can spend tens and thousands or more for things that are going to last 9 months.
Yeah, the highest, the latest, or the longest cycle of any Madden game so far is like every 2 years, 5 years, not even. They shut down the servers for that Madden game. I hear.
So it's just I just never understood. Uh, like even the WWE games DLC. DLC was extra wrestlers and like arenas and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but at least when the DLC was there, it's still there to use. But I'm not someone who's just buying every WWE game year after year after year just to buy more DLC again.
Mm-hmm. It's the only reason why I still own the 2K16 was because the games were gold back many years ago with the 2K games of the wrestling, WWE and all. So that's the only reason why, as I said, Stone Cold on the cover on it. That's the only reason why I bought it and played about a minute of it. But obviously, you can tell I lacked the time to play that game. But still, it looked good at the time because you brought up the legends,
Oh,
and all.
yeah, going through Stone Cold Showcase was fun.
Yeah.
Although I do have to say, I did not like I understood why they did it, but I did not like the fact that they basically glossed over the whole invasion storyline. But to be fair, Stone Cold's main rival during the invasion was Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle was in TNA when the game came out. So
Yeah.
I mean, WWE should have at least went out and see if they could have gotten Kurt Angle's permission to use him in the game. But
Well, yeah,
um,
they own the rights to the Kurt Angle brand, obviously. So
well, I know wrestlers have their own. Like if you don't work for WWE, you have the right to use your own likeness and image wherever you want.
mm-mm.
So
So from what I hear, especially for Rikishi, like Rikishi's own rights to when he moves to the independent circuit, especially the independent circuit. Like he only calls himself now called last time I checked he wasn't wrestled Rikishi, is that he called Kishi or Kish, one of those names. That's about it.
right,
He can't say
but anyway,
Rikishi. He can't say Rikishi in his current organization he's in wrestling. Last time I checked with Rikishi.
yeah, in WWE you don't WWE owns everything, but like when you're in a different company, Impact, which was the biggest before All Elite Wrestling came out, you could do like you could sell your likeness and image to any other company that you wanted or to any deal that you wanted.
That costs money,
So like
whatever.
um, anyway, that ready to move on from Madden 24.
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
All right, next. PlayStation Plus free games for June 2023 available now. PlayStation Plus subscribers can claim 3 games for PS5 and PS4, including NBA 2K23. The free PlayStation Plus games for June 2023 are now available to download. There are several big name games across both PS5 and PS4 for all PS Plus members, including PlayStation Plus. Essential subscribers get access to NBA 2K23, Jurassic World Evolution 2, and Trek to Yomi. It's a great time to subscribe if you aren't already, as PlayStation's Day of Play sale includes 25% off annual membership. With the NBA Finals on the horizon, it's not a bad time to start playing NBA 2K23. Along with some nice improvements to the on-court gameplay, NBA 2K23 added new game mode and features that are pretty damn cool. Most notably, the Jordan Challenge lets basketball fans take a trip through Michael Jordan's legendary career with 15 iconic playable moments. You can also rewrite basketball history with My NBA Errors. The PS5 and PS4 versions of NBA 2K23 are up for grabs. If you watched the Jurassic World movies and said to yourself, I could do a much better job managing these genetically modified dinosaurs, Jurassic World Evolution 2 gives you that opportunity. Set after the events of Jurassic World 1, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, this management sim lets you create your own dino park. Multiple modes are available, including a campaign mode with Jeff Goldblum, a sandbox mode, and a challenge mode that will put your management skills to the test. Trip to Yomi is a side-scrolling action game rendered in the style of a Kurosawa film. You play as a samurai in Japan during the Edo period. Unsurprisingly, Trek to Yomi is a gorgeous game. Though the combat gets repetitive, Trek to Yomi is a short game that's worth trying on a rainy day. The June 2023 PlayStation lineup is available to claim until July 3rd. So these 3 games are being offered. Do you care about any of these 3 games?
I'm sorry, repeat those 3 games again. I was sorry.
Uh,
Yeah.
NBA 2K23, Jurassic World Evolution 2, and Trek to Yomi.
Hmm. Uh, NBA 2K23. I think I saw it available on sale on Xbox for about not even $10, which is a pretty good price right there. But I hear bad things too about the sporting games altogether, which is football, basketball, and sometimes wrestling, and it's all that great. It really isn't. And 2K23 is microtransaction, pro microtransactions, obviously, like that I'm at in 2024. I hear so. It's it's a dark days for sporting games. I will admit that because they care more
All
about the
right.
money than about the quality of these games. You know.
All right. Well, what about Jurassic World Evolution 2? Or did you ever want to run your own Jurassic Park, basically?
I prefer the shooter version of Jurassic Park.
All
Yeah, that was good. You see, remember that one from the 1990s, Jurassic Park, the rail shooter. where
Not the rail shooter. I remember the Sega Genesis game, but
okay, but there's this big giant car-like Jeep-like arcade machine, the arcade machine in Valley Street, New York, and it's called what's called the Green Acres Arcade or something like that. So in this arcade, they had this big machine that looks like a Jeep, whatever. You climb into it, and it's up to two people can fit into that small Jeep. As it closes with the surround sound, and you close the curtain on, you get the back portion behind you. You got the front screen right there. It's like a size of like I don't know, like a 50-inch or 60-inch, whatever. It looks that big. It was like wow, especially when I was a kid, it looked that big to me, and very intimidating to go inside that thing because it was very scary when you shoot those dinosaurs. Dude, that was the best experience ever. I know most of these kids never experienced that before in arcade machines, but if they still have them in the arcade machines to this day in Manhattan or in San Francisco, by all means try it out before it's too late. It's the Jurassic World 2, Jurassic World altogether, those games it's like a park builder, right? You trying to say?
yeah, basically, like I said, you're building your own Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I'm not much of a builder. I'm more of a destroyer. Yeah.
Okay. Any thoughts on Trek to Yomi, the samurai game?
Maybe I could try it out if it's on the Xbox on the Xbox, but unfortunately that's on the PlayStation only, right? So it's
No, I think Trek to Yomi's on Game Pass
okay.
also for Xbox.
Trek to
I
only.
think. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
All right. Well, like I said, the NBA 2K23. I got a couple Xbox One NBA games for sale. So I could play those if I really wanted. I do say the Jordan Challenge would be the biggest draw. Would be the biggest draw for if I was going to play NBA 2K23.
Right.
Jurassic World Evolution 2, unlike Doctor Games 101, I am a builder. So I love the Sim City games. I love the Tropico games. Tropico 4 is one of the games I played the most. Since I let my Game Pass subscription run out. But I just don't like Jurassic World Evolution. I've never really cared about the movies, so I wouldn't really care about Jurassic Park, a builder, because I never cared about owning my own Jurassic Park. I'd rather want a city like Tropico or Sim City or something like that. Or like a theme park like Roller Coaster Tycoon. And Trek to Yomi, I've heard how the aura around it is very it's a samurai game, but it really bores me when I tried to play it once and I was bored, so I never really got into it.
It would be nice if they simultaneously added a sequel to Jurassic Park: The Rail Shooter. That would be nice to see something like that. New dinosaurs, new characters. Bring back the characters from the previous trilogy, because Jurassic Park 1, 2, and 3 were from the 1990s into the 2000s, while Jurassic World is from 2015, 2018, now 2023, 2022. So it's kind of like put those characters together in a rail shooter. That'd be perfect right there for a sequel. You know.
Yeah. All right. So, anything else to add, or ready to move on?
I'm ready to move on.
Just hold on. My shorts were getting stuck, so sitting without moving for a while.
Right.
But I'm good. So let's continue. Yes, popular horror game Friday the 13th will be delisted, replaced everywhere. Developer Gun Interactive just sounded the death knell for this inactive asymmetrical survivor horror game. Asymmetrical multiplayer survival horror game Friday the 13th, the game, has been at standstill since engulfed by a battle for franchise rights in 2018. It's been a slow death, but on June 8th, developer Gun announced that it was finally over. The game's license expires on December 31st, and on that date, Friday the 13th will no longer be available for purchase in any form. The game will, however, continue to function, though, at least December 31st, 2024, if you already own it, Gunn wrote in a statement posted to Twitter. In the meantime, Gunn says it's making the base game $5 and each piece of downloadable content an additional $1 now through December 31st, though online stores like Steam currently list the game for $15. So, hold on, there's more. We are happy the game will live on a while longer and continue to be enjoyed by anyone owning the game already. Gunn is now turning its attention to its adaptation of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which will also be an asymmetrical multiplayer survival game. In an interview with Kotaku, art and audio director and Gunn Interactive CEO Wes Keltner said the studio wants to make sure that each player feels like they've just been through their own personal version of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But for us, the developer, he continued, we're going to look at the original property and say that's what we're making. That game is scheduled to release August 18th, and Friday 13th fans might also have something to look forward to. In an interview with Rely on Horror, composer Harry Manfredini, who was responsible for most of Friday 13th series' chilling music, including the game's soundtrack, said he is now involved with another studio's more realistic-looking game. The game will supposedly be done in different style to that of the previous asymmetrical multiplayer title. The Rely on Horror article says Manfredini didn't know many of the details about the game beyond his involvement, but it's still exciting to know there's something new on the horizon for the series. Evil never dies. So, what do you think of Friday the 13th being delisted?
I mean, I would say it sucked entirely. I mean, it's not that popular. Not popular, but it's not that out there like that of other games. It's like a niche audience. So it was delisted. I hope it will still be up for those who have already downloaded the game. So
yeah, they said they did. Yeah, they did say that. It will be. It'll be if you play it, if you already downloaded it and play it and can play it. It'll be good up till 2024 at least.
that's not so bad, but still, it's like it's part of history because after so many decades later, like the last time we ever had a Friday the 13th movie was back in what, Jason X? Oh, Freddy versus Jason actually. Now that one's all right to watch. It's not the best movie, but it's all right to watch. It's whatever. It's slasher movies are not my big thing, but I don't mind watching them. At one point, I owned the first 8 parts of Friday the 13th on my computer. Unfortunately, I cannot find them at all. I have to transfer all my data the last many years, how many years ago. So it's kind of like it sucks on my end that I got to buy $100 worth of content, So
Right. Okay. I just need a moment to Just bear with me for a moment.
yeah, sure. So Friday the 13th is like, it's okay to play. I did play a couple times with you, Triple J. I played it by myself one time. It's okay. It's just that it's more fun with other people that you know of. So, it was all right. So,
yeah. Remember when we played it together? I was Jason, and you were running down the highway. I was running down this the other side of the divider.
Okay.
Remember that? Okay. You're like, what is this? A jog?
It's like jogging.
Okay, got that up. Yeah, but I remember. Is the time we played Friday the 13th? Is that still on your Twitch or?
It should still be, yeah.
And if not, I think it's still on YouTube.
Yeah, at least on YouTube.
Yeah, so I mean, it sucks that it's being delisted, but unfortunately, licensing rights can kill any game. But it's good to know that if you play it or if you buy it by the end of the year, it'll still be up till at least till December 31st, 2024. It'll still be playable. So,
oh yeah.
So they're not killing the game anytime soon, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, next. Hold on. Okay. Next. Gamers anxiously check heads after Twitch streamer shows headphone dent. Streamer Carlos shaved his head for charity and discovered something concerning. For today's edition of Things You Might Want to Worry About, we bring you the story of a streamer who discovered many hours of wearing a gaming audio headset has left an indent on his scalp. Subsequent discussions revealed that many other gamers have experienced the same. Go ahead and have a look at your head in the mirror now. I'll wait. During the June 3rd charity stream for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, streamer Kudo shaved his head in support of the charity and, to his complete shock, discovered a headset-shaped indent right at the top of his skull. His decidedly dented head and his reaction to it swiftly caught the attention of other streamers and gamers who've either experienced or worried about the same thing. It turns out the issue is a bit more widespread than one might have thought. "Dude, I have an indent like right here," Kudo said when he first caught sight of the new shape of his head. As gentle mood-setting house music played in the background, he continued, "This is where my headphones go. I have an effing headphone indent on my head. What the F? I always thought this was just my hair." But as it turns out, Kudos is far from alone with this issue, as a Reddit thread discusses the issue of cranial indents caused by headphones has been raised by others in the past. One reply surfaced a video from 2 years ago where streamer Nick Merckx revealed the results of his occupational hazard. Another Reddit thread from 3 years ago also goes into the phenomenon, as does this 5-year-old Reddit thread. But as many have observed on Reddit and Twitter, it's highly unlikely that headsets are actually altering the shape of anyone's skull. It takes around 297 pounds of pressure to cause damage to the human skull, according to one study. So what we're seeing in these examples is the result of the headset pushing down on fat and soft tissue, or is nothing more than the natural shape of some people's heads. Any indentation will likely go away with bit of massaging and a long enough break from wearing a headset. And while you may worry about the shape of your head being altered from wearing headphones for a prolonged period of times, as someone who suffers from tinnitus, I can tell you the real danger is to your hearing. Please, folks, watch the volume on these things. Did you hear about the story about people discovering headphone-shaped indents on their heads?
Oh yeah, I heard about it at least a few months back. This is one streamer. I think it's the same streamer you talked about in the article. He has this very indent with his headset. He had for how many hours and days and years. I'll play League of Legends, and he's buff and jacked like an actual gym goer. And he actually got something like that. But I will admit this on camera too. I have an indent myself. I was born with. It's right here, actually on my head. You don't see it, but I have an indent when I was born, and people made fun of me for years when I was a kid about having that, called it a pussy or butt and shit like that. So so it's not for a headset. It's for my bone. I was born, so it's kind of like it was expected to be ridiculed eventually. So, yeah, it sucks, 'cause hopefully it's not too obvious when you go outside and perhaps wear a hat or something. If you wear a hat, it should be not that obvious. But if
if you have a lot of hair, it's not going to be noticeable.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like that, my indent right here. I told you that before. I had an indent too many years ago, Triple J. So,
you might have. I probably forgot.
Yeah, I understand. It's not too obvious anymore. I'm too tall. I'm too tall for people to see it right away. But if you look enough, if I move my hand like this, and if people see from behind, they'll laugh and be like, "Ha ha 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 ha!" Shit.
Yeah. So basically, yeah. I don't think anyone has to worry. It's just like if you go to sleep on a couch cushion long. You wake up, you got like an imprint of the couch cushion pattern, on your face sometimes, or it's. Yeah, or your hands, if you so it's I think it's just another one of those things, and like they said, maybe just take a break, or maybe don't wear a headset when you don't have to. Oh, yeah. A lot of times I stream, I don't wear a headset, so I actually threw out my. Oh no, that's still there. I used to wear a headset for my current job until we discovered the headset was basically butchering my calls, and I tried it without the headset. My manager was like, "You sound 1,000% better." So it was your headset. So, Yeah, when I telemarket, I don't even have a headset. I have I have my laptop mic to talk through, and I hear the customers through my speakers. So
That's good.
yeah, so I don't have to wear a headset. But I did at my other jobs, telemarketing jobs. So
Okay.
it's yeah, the good news is it doesn't sound like it's going to cause a long term problem.
Oh yeah.
Before we continue, I just want to get something to drink, so I'll be right back.
Sure thing. I should the same as well. Be back in a minute, guys. Play some music to beats on my. Okay, I'm back.
I'm back too. All right, so ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, next. A PS5 game on 2 disc is giving 1995. Looks like the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is going to clog up your PlayStation 5 storage space. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the highly anticipated sequel to Final Fantasy VII Remake, rounded out Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest broadcast. At the end of the sizzling cinematic trailer was confirmation of the game's early 2024 release window. Right under those words was a nostalgia trip no one expected in
Excuse
the
me.
year of our Lord 2023. FF7 Rebirth will launch on 2 PS5 discs. Yes, you read that right. The next installment in Pretty Boy Cloud Strife and Friends Adventure will ship on 2 separate discs. Kinda wild. It's not exactly new, though, as prior PS4 games such as Red Dead Redemption 2 and even Final Fantasy VII Remake have included 2 discs, usually the first one for installation, while the other is the actual game. Yeah, Grand Theft Auto 5 on Xbox 360 also did that.
Oh yeah.
It's just giving 1995 when the OG Final Fantasy VII release came on 3 disc in '97, mind you. And it's not exactly something you'd expect from an increasingly digital-only world, but it's nostalgic, isn't it? When do you think the game will actually change disc? After a pivotal moment, a boss battle, once Sephiroth serenades us to sleep with a gently yet menacing soliloquy? We'll find out next year. For now, we know that in addition to continuing to mess with the story, the game will allow you to venture out into the world that waits beyond Midgar. Maybe that's why we'll need 2 discs. Kotaku reached out to Square Enix for comment. In the meantime, you can have a laugh looking at how much the phrase 2 disc is breaking everyone's brains on social media where it's now trending. Alongside the memes and solid goofs are some interesting theories, like this one suggesting how cool it'd be if one disc entered Zack and the other focused on Cloud. That's unlikely, of course, but who knows? The first game in this remake series demonstrated that we can't be at all sure just where things are headed. So, what do you think of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth being released on 2 separate discs for the PS5?
It was expected, or not expected, but it was predicted, or maybe the fact that rumors going around that it's too much data on one disc for the second part, especially. So,
Right.
because back in 2015, when it was revealed in an E3 trailer, like last time I checked, though, the 2015 trailer, it was like, it was 5 years to make it up until the 2020s. So, because there was rumors going around, and as well, we were discussing gamers. He's he's like an army ranger I talked to in the past, and I had lost contact with him. He lives somewhere in Brooklyn, and he told me that in kind of like detail that it can be impossible for Square Enix to create the game onto one disc of that, even if it's a Blu-ray disc, especially that of a PS4 and all, because the details is so volumetric and graphical that it probably could take 2 discs. Fortunately, it took only 1 disc for PS4 and PS5, surprisingly. So Rebirth was expected to be a bigger game, part of the game, I should say. So it was expected for it to be a 2 disc for that two-parter.
Mhm.
You know, and I hope the third part, if it's going to be the final part, that'll be until 2026 at the earliest, I bet. So, or at least 2027. So that'll be end of PlayStation 5's life cycle. Hopefully that'll be 3 discs. Because obviously the original Final Fantasy game, it was on it was 3 discs on the PS1, disc one,
Yeah.
two, and three. And if you didn't have any of the discs, then he will play the game fully. Before its time, before all the digitized content on Xbox and PlayStation Store now. So, you know,
Just like Shenmue on Dreamcast, the original Shenmue was on 3 disc.
Four
Final
disc,
Fantasy
actually.
8 on PlayStation was 4 disc.
Shenmue was 4 discs, actually.
Mm-mm. I looked into it. The Travel Pass disc, which was the 4th disc, that's just like extras and stuff.
Okay, no problem.
If you just care about playing the main game, then you only need the 3 disc.
Okay,
But it does come with like a Travel Pass disc, but that's like I said, like extras.
okay.
Um, yeah, because someone sold me Shenmue, and I'm not sure. And the whole reason it's not in stores, I was like, wait a minute, do I need 4 disc? And then I did a little research, and I was like, no, it's only 3 disc if you just want to play the main game. Um, but anyway, yeah. So I mean, this is kind of weird, just because I mean, PS2 and Xbox and PS and 360 especially, it was very rare for games to have a second disc unless it was like a soundtrack or something.
Yeah.
25 to Life had a second disc, but it was all just the soundtrack of the games of the songs in the actual game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Grand Theft Auto 5 on 360, it came with an installation disc and then the game disc. So we're starting to see that more and more as games get bigger and bigger. I just wonder if we're going to go back to multiple disc in games before long.
What Xbox, especially Xbox, the brand themselves, should do is that they should compress their files, to make it smaller. Because as the games get bigger and bigger in its original form, like Modern Warfare 2 2022, they're asking like 150, 140 gigabytes for that one game alone. And Modern
Mm.
Warfare 2019 was easy in 90 gigabytes. So it got bigger over the last 4 years between those two games. So I'm thinking to myself, like, what is these game makers are thinking of, or what is Sony and my Xbox are thinking of? And I hope one day they'll reconfigure the trend to compress the data, of their on the disc and all, because obviously they care more about the volume, not the actual density of the product. If you want to think like in that terms, so.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, so it's just weird, but then again, it's nostalgic. It is nostalgic for
Oh
people
yeah.
who grew up during the PS1 for people who experienced the PlayStation One Dreamcast era,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
as me and Doctor Games 101 were both gamers during.
Yep.
Ready to move on?
I will say this out loud. When I say at times I play Final Fantasy 7 totally in my not only in my room sometimes, but also in the basement of my house where there's no one in there. My mom was at work, or whatever, and then one night or one afternoon, excuse me, during vacation, I forget which one is either winter or the Christmas vacation. I stayed up like the entire afternoon trying to play and beat the wall monster and the ancients, Temple of the Ancients. And I had these nice big giant bowl of wings next to me, and I was eating them like crazy, and trying to beat this boss and keep practicing and training and stuff like that over and over. And my mom was screaming like, "Dad, Charles, just eat them all the wings." I was like, "Oh, I guess." So I was hooked onto the game at the same time. I was eating at the same time. I was like, I was a '90s kid definitely from that experience, because it's all about consumption and consumerism at the time. So
Hey, I've done that. The first time I played Scarface, the video game, my boss and I had went to Five Guys restaurant after work, but before we went separate ways for the weekend. And I still had my French fries left over. We ate together, but they give so many French fries. If you get the large fries, there was no way I could finish them. So, like at 1 a.m., I was eating French fries while trying out Scarface, the video game, for the first time.
hmm.
So, yeah, I experienced that even as an adult.
Okay,
Ready to move on?
yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Hey, we're both '90s kids, so
Yes, indeed.
Yakuza, spin-off like a Dragon Gaiden, arrives this November. I'm going to read the original article, then the update. The trailer showed a small tease of what happens to Kazuma Kiryu to get him where he apparently will be at the start of Like a Dragon 8. He's initially asked to do a simple bodyguard job, and we see him being given a new name, Joyu. As things tend to do in the Yakuza and Like a Dragon games, though, matters quickly spin out of Kiryu's control, and he ends up involved with powers far greater than they initially wanted to deal with. Original story. Yakuza spin-off Like a Dragon Guide and The Man Who Erased His Name arrives November this 9th, according to a PlayStation Store leak. As reported by Geomatsu, new details for Like a Dragon Gaiden appeared on PlayStation Store price tracking website PS Deals, suggesting the game now exists in the store's backend even if it's not available to view publicly. A synopsis of the game arrived alongside the release date leak. Once a legendary Yakuza, Kazuma Kiryu faked his own death and abandoned his name for the sake of protecting his family, it said. Now he is thrust into conflict by a mysterious figure attempting to drive him out of hiding. The description also highlights two distinct fighting styles available to players, the aggressive Yakuza style and the gadget-infused agent style. With the Yakuza style, strike fear into enemies by unleashing wildly aggressive moves powered by Kiryu's unparalleled strength and flair, the post said, or up the ante with the agent style by delivering blows with absolute speed and precision while using an array of high-tech gadgets like electrified bind wires to stun enemies and then send them flying. Little has been said about Like a Dragon Gaiden, which will connect Yakuza 6 with the upcoming Like a Dragon 8, since it was announced in September 2022. The release date, alongside these other details, will be announced officially at the RGG Summit Summer 2023 showcase taking place on June 15th. You can catch up on everything announced at the Summer Game Fest today in our roundup, and keep an eye on all of the trailers, announcements, and more from Summer Gaming right here. But now it's time to read what the update was. This update was added today. During Summer Game Fest today, a debut trailer for Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, proved the leaks true. This game is indeed coming to PlayStation, Xbox, and PC on November 9th, with a legendary fighter pack available for those who pre-order. So, I played this game. I played not this game, but the game that came before it, Yakuza Like a Dragon. Have you played? Have you played that on Game Pass yet?
Unfortunately, no. I did play Yakuza 0 for the first 2 hours or so. That game was all right, Yakuza 0. It's not my cup of tea per se, but I'll still play whenever I can. I still own the rights to it too, the game ownership, because it's part of the Game Pass. The last time I checked, Yakuza 0, Yakuza 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Last time I checked was on the Game Pass, so got plenty of time to catch up on those. Now, Like a Dragon, I never played. It seems more like the comical version of Yakuza, because it seemed like too serious to look at first. Because it was very animated.
It's. I mean, it does. I mean, the graphics are. It's not like cartoony or childish or anything. I played halfway through Like a Dragon, so
because it was over exaggerated with the way the guy was moving, punching, and kicking. It wasn't seen all that serious like the Yakuza 0 or Yakuza 1 and 2.
Well, so, I mean, I haven't played all the Yakuza games. Like a Dragon's the one I played the most. Because, like I said, I was halfway through it. Now it's awesome because, like, if you end up like doing an attack during like near a weapon, your character will automatically pick up the weapon and use it in his next attack. So, like, you can end up using street signs or anything that's not nailed down if you happen to be near it.
Right.
And, they got normal attacks, they got the technique attacks or magic attacks, whatever you want to call them, which do more damage. So it's not really that cartoony. But I mean, I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't tried it on Game Pass, Dr. Games 101 included. But it's a really good story. Like I said, I was playing. That's the game I was playing on Game Pass until my subscription ran out.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So it's getting a sequel. I'm not really excited about the sequel as I thought I would be at first. But then again, I have to see how Like a Dragon ends anyway before. Maybe that's how I'll get the closure for the story I started there.
Yeah, I think to those who are out there who are very hardcore Yakuza gamers, especially if you're our age that have been in place since the beginning, since the PS2 games, or that you get Japan imports for Yakuza 3, 4, and 5, or two of the games were like in Japan imported, and you get to get to from Japan or to play it at the time of the 2000 roll. So those hardcore gamers out there, they probably understand where I come from with Like a Dragon, that specific game, because it looked kind of like I said, over exaggerated, cartoony like with their not the design itself, but the way he punches, the way he moves around, interacts with people and stuff. It seems like it's like more for children type of style, type of game playing. I can't explain that, but the Yakuza gamers know what I'm talking about. Those the ones out there. You can comment down below in the Twitch video if you want. So.
Yeah, well, it's turn based, so I mean, so it. But like I said, the attacks never came off as childish.
Okay.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, ready.
All right. Next. Shadows of the Damned is getting remastered. After years, hold on. After years swallowing in purgatory, 2011 Shadows of the Damned is getting another shot in the limelight on a remaster. On top of that, developer Grasshopper Manufacturer is holding its own E3-style presentation next week. Shadows of the Damned was a product of a collaboration between Grasshopper's Gucci Sada, aka Suda51, who wrote this game, and Resident Evil creator Shinji Mikami, who served as a producer. It's a third-person shooter about demon hunter Garcia Hotspur, who must rescue his girlfriend after she's abducted by the forces of the underworld with the help of his trusty, phallic, joke-loving demon, Johnson. The game's bombastic supernatural action and absurd sense of humor made it generally well-liked upon release. We scored it 9.25 out of 10, but has never been ported beyond its original platforms on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. That's about to change. Mm-hmm. The humorous trailer doesn't reveal any details about the remaster, but we'll likely learn more at the inaugural Grasshopper Direct on June 14th. The event celebrates the studio's 25th anniversary, kicks off at 12 a.m. Eastern, so fans in the U.S. will have to brew an extra cup of coffee if they want to catch the event live. Are you a fan of Shadows of the Damned, or does this remaster entice you to give it a shot? Let us know in the comments. Have you ever played this for 360?
I've heard the game before. I heard it was all right to play. It's like that, like not of the exact gameplay, but like the class of like Prototype or Brink or those type of games. Back during the 360 times. The Xbox 360.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's. I can't really. Blink, I wouldn't say so, but it's. I actually like this game. I do own this game, the 360 version. Unfortunately, I'm on the very last boss. But my 360 disc, I think, has a crack in it. Sometimes that happens after prolonged playing time. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I'm on the last boss, and it's a fun game. It's got crude humor, so I mean that's a case. You feed Johnson your gun like a strawberry, and then your gun just like expands to huge, and then when you shoot it, Garcia's going, "Say hello to my big boner."
Wow. That sounds good. Okay.
So it's got a sense of humor like that. You do fight like demons. They got boss fights. They made a music video of Shadows of the Damned game on YouTube. Some fan did. So yeah, it's a fun game. It's if you like third person shooters, and then you'll like Shadows of the Damned.
So it's like Dante Inferno, but in a comical viewpoint.
Not comical, because they do make it serious. It's not comical. Dante's Inferno, yeah, because you're in hell. But it does have its funny moments. Also,
Basically, it's campy. That's the term called camping.
I don't know about campy, because
Hard to tell.
and then like you drink alcohol to regain your health.
Now that I want to play definitely. I'll buy the remastered. I mean, you see me on a stream for 2 hours straight drinking Budweiser, fucking wine, and Bacardi and shit like that. I'd be like, yeah, I'm restoring my health. No more diabetes. Woo!
Well, in the game it's tequila.
Okay, I'll buy some tequila next time.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, even though I'm almost close, I never really tried the last boss fight after the first time I reached it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm excited about this remastered. I might go through it again if I can get my hands on the remaster.
Okay. Okay.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next. Come on, come on. Oh, whoa. Too far down. Richard Ayoade stars in new Fable trailer. The new Fable from Playground Games was previously announced, but the latest trailer gives us a better sense of the game's comedic tone. The trailer, but not the full game, presumably stars Richard Ayoade of the IT Crowd fame as Dave, commiserating about the age of heroes being over and the age of agriculture being the future. In a twist, however, it is revealed that Ayoade's character is a giant fending off heroes who are trying to invade his home. From there, an action sequence begins, with the hero outrunning the giant Ayoade. It is revealed in the end that the hero has defeated the giant by showing them sitting on his shattered glasses. The trailer's description on YouTube shares that this new entry will continue to take place in Albion. No release date was revealed, but the game will be available on Game Pass day one. Do you care about the Fable series?
I got all Fable 1, 2, and 3 on my Xbox right now, and I've finally played Fable the anniversary. That one, it's a little messed up in its what's it called, the bugs issues, stuff like that. So that's normal for that game to happen like that for itself back then. Fable 3, I played not even an hour of it. I'm like not bored. It's just that it wasn't connecting with me because you create a character. You choose between a male and the female, and it's like it's not like an in-depth character. You go into the understand their story and adventure really. So, Fable is like a mixed feeling with me and with the series itself. Those three games. So if the remake of it or the remaster, whatever it's called, coming out this year, next year, I hope it'll be something different this time because I hear that the people behind this Fable game coming up were creating race car games at the time. So it's kind of like a weird project, a weird challenge for this company to go through, or studio to go through to make this game. So, because they all focus on cars for God knows how many years, if not decades. And I hope that with their experience, they'll try to change stuff around a bit with the game. Maybe add a little racing adventure. I don't know. But whatever comes first, it's either racing or no racing. It doesn't matter. But this is what I hear from other gamers. So it's obviously they're not going to tell you the full detail behind who really is behind the studio. They'll tell you the studio, obviously, but they're not going to tell you the details of what they did in the past unless you research them. So it's going to be an interesting game. I saw the trailer in the Xbox Showcase, so it looks good. Got the black guy as the giant, like the Jack and the Beanstalk reference. So,
Okay. I never really cared about Fable other than Fable 3, and Fable 3 I sold before I completed. So yeah, I'm not too interested in Fable. I did play the original on original Xbox, but it's just not, for some reason, I've never played Fable 2. Fable 3 is the only one I really cared about.
Okay.
So, yeah, I tried the original Fable, I just couldn't get into it.
All right, understood.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, ready.
All right. Next. Ubisoft's open world Star Wars game is out next year. Today, during the Xbox showcase, we finally got a look at the open world Star Wars game Ubisoft has been working on for the last few years. The game is being developed by Massive Entertainment, an Ubisoft studio known for making The Division and The Division 2. The cinematic reveal trailer didn't show any gameplay, instead relying on CGI cutscenes to set the mood of the world, showing a young woman on the run from a bounty hunter. You can watch it for yourself below. The description of the trailer on YouTube offers some more concrete details about the game. Experience the first ever open world Star Wars game, set between the events of The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. The description says, explores distinct planets across the galaxy, both iconic and new. Risk it all as a Kivess, an emerging scoundrel seeking freedom and the means to start a new life, along with her companion Nyx. Fight, steal, and outwit your way through the galaxy's crime syndicates as you join the galaxy's most wanted. While the new title isn't out until 2024, we'll be learning more about it at Ubisoft Showcase tomorrow. For the full lineup of showcases this month, check out our streaming schedule. So are you interested in an open world Star Wars game?
That's hard to tell really because I never really played a Star Wars game in a while, in detail, in an in-depth sense. Because the last Star Wars game I played was an arcade machine at the Chuck E. Cheese when I was like 14 years old, 13 years old. It's like back in 2002, 2001, and it was like basically you sit in the chair of this chair, whatever. It's open screen, like it's a screen about the size of like a 60 inch, if not bigger, and you shoot with a pilot control. Basically, you're piloting the Star Wars game. So it's kind of rail shooter of sorts. So I never really had an actual open world experience with Star Wars, so I can't say if it's going to be good or not, or will be good. So we'll watch out for it until next year and see if there's a demo coming out of it, or perhaps a trial version I could download. I could definitely try it out and see how it is. You know.
Okay. Yeah. I gotta admit, not really in it myself. I mean, it does sound on the one from a bounty hunter. That may be cool, but I just think Star Wars just doesn't work well in open world. But then again, now that I think about it, yeah, I prefer a contained Star Wars game. How big is this open world going to be? Are you going to be going to different planets? I mean, too many questions to ask, but like the story sounds interesting. I just wonder what the confines of the game are going to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I have to say. But we'll find out more about this game as it gets closer to the release. Ready to move on?
Let's do this. Yeah.
All right. Next.
Mm-mm.
Persona 3 Remake officially announced. After an accidental... Oh, whoa. Stop scrolling anytime. After an accidental early posting earlier this week on Atlas' official Instagram accounts, the remake of Persona 3 is officially real. The Persona 3 remake is called Persona 3 Reload and is being made in Unreal Engine. The footage of the game points out at to it being a total from-the-ground-up remake, which may explain why the recent re-release of Persona 3 on modern platforms was somewhat underwhelming. The game is set to release in early 2024 and will be available on Game Pass. I don't know anything about Persona 3. You want me to play the trailer?
I saw the trailer before. If you want to play it again, that's fine by me.
Okay. Yeah, it might give me more to talk about because
Yeah.
I'm not that familiar with Persona series. I played maybe one game in the series.
I played Persona 4 the other month, so.
All right, so trailer's about to play. Then okay, it's just a minute long, so
Understood.
I'll play the trailer and then if YouTube would just cooperate. I mean, like I said, I hate when it zooms in and you see like half the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Which may explain why. Okay, I'll do This is the best I can do. Okay, I'll do. This is the best I can do. Okay, that explains a lot.
I saw a different
Um,
trailer.
yeah. So, what do you think about this game
Well,
coming out?
I did play Persona 4, which is called Persona 4 Golden many years ago. Not many years ago, when it came out sometime on the Xbox One. It was all right, the game itself. So I
Sure.
heard of Persona for years on end of its good gameplay, its in-depth story, interactive story, mechanics and all. And it's not personally my favorite, like that of Halo or perhaps Time Crisis and stuff like that. But I'm willing to play every Persona if I can in my lifetime, just to see the story, how it's unfolded, and things like that. So, personally, myself, Persona 3, I never played yet, but the remake will be a good starting point to play more what's like before Persona 4 and all. And I hear that you can play as much as like a 200 hours of gameplay on one Persona game, surprisingly. So it's
Yeah, it's role playing. So,
yeah, definitely. And the reason why I never really never really wanted to get involved. I do want to get involved with plays Persona, but it's just I didn't have the money for it, extra money for the Persona games. Because there's this one musician by the name of Lil Tommy J. He promoted Persona 3 back. This is back years ago, like 2015, 2016. It's called Persona 3 something, and it's just look up Lil Tommy J. It's LILTOMMY J, and you'll see like Resident Evil. You'll see what's called Evil Within, Devil May Cry. Like he does all sorts of remix music for each of these games, and it helps me understand more about it in a interactive kind of sense. It's like only for 3 minutes long the video, so Persona 3 has always been on my mind for a while, for quite some time to try out and play. I guess this is a nice good way to promote it. This for this remake, and I hope that it'll come out next year on time and with no bugs, no with better graphics, better sound, sound effects, music, you name it, and it looks good by looks of things. And yes, Persona is like it's like a game I should have gotten more involved when I was younger, but I never heard of it until like 2000 and like 2011. So it's gonna be like almost 15 years to make it for me to see more about this Persona 3 game in a sense. So yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So, I played Persona 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yeah, it's on
Um,
Xbox Game Pass.
yeah. So I played Persona 5 one time. It was actually kind of interesting. So I'm a little more interested in the Persona series than I was before I played the fifth game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I wish the trailer was a little more uh, concrete on uh, being more having a little more substance instead of being a flashy style um, music video. But
They did the same with Persona 5's trailer back before it came out, so it was very vague on the Tokyo Game Show.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, Persona 3. All I could say is I'm definitely open to it, but it's not something I'd be wanting out to get day one. But if it's
Mm-hmm.
on Game Pass and I have Game Pass again, maybe maybe I will try it out.
Oh yeah.
Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
I want to say too is that the Persona game has been around for what 25 years almost, right? Since
I
PlayStation
think
One.
so. Yeah.
So I must have heard about it maybe once when I was younger, but by the time I read the magazines of Game Informer and Xbox magazine, that's when I started to know more about the Persona games. So it's hard to tell back in 2008, 2009, 2010, give or take, but it was around that time I heard about more of these Persona games. And then by 2012, 2013, that's when the musicians came out that are like, remix musicians like Little Tommy J, Angel 52, Cute Girls Doing Cute Things, Gray L, all these new musicians coming to be over the decade of 2010s. It's check those guys out on YouTube. They're very good musicians. Some of it's about music and gaming. Others is sound effects from the video games. Others about anime. So you gotta you'll figure it out eventually by sorting through all their music. So it kind of create this cross promotion, cross helping of buying not new games, but buying games from the past. It's based on nostalgia, reminiscence, and a little bit of style. So that's how I look at it. So yeah, that's all.
Yeah. All right. So why don't you move on?
Yeah.
All right. Next. Payday 3 is coming out in September. At long last, Payday 3 has a release date. Today, during the Xbox Game Showcase, it was announced that the multiplayer bank robber simulator will be coming out on September 21st. Aside from a date, a flashy new trailer showed plenty of the robbery and action mechanics off. As you might have guessed, it sure does look like another Payday. Check it out below. Payday 3 was announced all the way back in 2016 and has fucking been stuck in development hell ever since. Apparently, it's set in a living, enormous representation of New York City. So, are you interested in trying out Payday 3 when it releases? Or
I'm not a big fan of Payday. I don't hate the game. It's just that it's not fun if you don't have like friends directly. And like you, for example, if we were co-op in Payday 2, if ever, that'd be great to experience that together.
right?
But if it's just a random, like, by yourself, or it's just, it doesn't seem like it's in depth to me. I mean, of course, I should have played the first Payday as for a story wise, but it's just a catch my eye per se. It's Payday 3. I mean, it looks good when I saw the trailer and all on the Xbox Showcase and all, but it's just if I have friends I know in person and I trust them with my life in that game type of style, it's like let's rob that money, let's get that bills, let's get the Jeffersons and the Benjamins and because we get simulation for like actual robbery, like my God.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's that's what Payday is all about. I do remember that was a big drawback of Payday 2, which was if you didn't have anyone to play with, the AI looked like they didn't know how to rob anything.
Yeah.
They just shot at cops when they came. So basically, it got very boring if you were playing by yourself. Hopefully, maybe they can iron that out with Payday 3. Maybe, but when it comes out, we'll find out. I mean, this game has been in development for 5 years, so it's they're gonna have to do something different than Payday 2. But yeah, I didn't try out much of Payday 2 because it was boring as a single player experience.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right, next. Persona 5 Tactica officially announced. After leaking earlier this week alongside the remake of Persona 3, the Persona 5 Tactics game is now official. The Persona 5 Tactics game, called Persona 5 Tactica, releases this year on November 17th. It appears to be a continuation of the stories from Persona 5 and Persona 5 Strikers and adds a new mysterious member to the crew, but with a new chibi art style and grid-based tactics gameplay. Persona 5 Tactica will also be available on Xbox Game Pass. Did you see the trailer on this one?
I believe so, yeah. Just to do the showcase.
Okay, so what do you think of Persona 5 Tactica then?
Like I said, it's based on a chibi form of gameplay, so it's kind of cute in itself, it's not my cup of tea as far as liking it so much, but it got me laugh a bit after seeing the trailer. So Persona 5 Tactica. I never played Persona 5 yet, so I can't say much about this game. And of course, it's a continuation, of course, of Persona 5, but I don't know the whole story of Persona 5 yet, so I can't say much about the how in depth or how good it is yet. So
Right.
as soon as I play Persona 5 Royale, it's called, which is like an add-on to Persona 5 and all, maybe I can get a better understanding of the story. So, because it's on Game Pass last time I checked the Persona 5 Royale. So,
Yeah, I think the Persona games and Payday games will be on Game Pass day one. So if we have Game Pass subscriptions still, we'll be able to try them out. So
yep. Yeah, Persona 5, like, when I saw the at Tokyo Game Show in 2018, it showed, like, some guy walking in the city, taking a train, and walking the streets of Tokyo, and that's about it. It was like, what the hell, you know? But as time evolves, and other Nintendo fanboys, other Persona fan, like, gamers coming to streaming this kind of content, like Shokyo, for example. Shokyo, he's a Nintendo fan, if you want to call him, not a fanboy, but he's a follower of Nintendo games, and especially Super Smash Brothers and Mario and you name it. Like, he's a good Super Smash Brothers player. And last time I checked, though, so in so many years I haven't seen his gameplay on stream, but he does his streams whenever he can. His name is Shokio, Shokio. So I've been following him since 2013, 2014. So, and I'm his Facebook friends as well too. So,
all right,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I really got nothing to add about Persona 5 Tactica.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I'm new to the Persona series, but I'm not completely unfamiliar. So
Yeah, it's like one of those series where it's like it's there, but it's not there at the same time for the majority of the gamers because obviously it's for a niche audience. It doesn't appeal to anyone, everyone, you know. So
right, it's there, but like while it may reach a lot of gamers, it doesn't do it all at the same time.
yeah, it's over the decade because there's so many personas out there, and each persona gives at least 150, 125 hours per game playing if you want the full experience, you know,
Right.
so.
Yeah. So I mean, but Persona 5 Tactica is coming out along with Persona 3. So
Mm-hmm.
ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next, Ninja Theory shares new Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 gameplay footage. Uh, Melina Jurgens, who plays Senua in the Hellblade games, appeared during the Xbox Game Showcase to introduce new gameplay footage of the sequel. This gameplay footage showed Senua exploring a cave of some kind while dealing with her invasive inner voices. If you played the original game, its oppressive, claustrophobic atmosphere is familiar. Senua entered a pool in the cave while the walls shifted in a kaleidoscopic fashion. The footage was impressive in both visuals and performance. Unfortunately, no specific release date was offered, but it was given a 2024 release window. Since I really don't have anything to say, I'm going to play the trailer on this one.
I can say something about it if you want me to.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So, if you want to play the trailer too, after what I say it too, because I'm still trying to play more of the Hellblade one, and Senua's Saga. It's very in depth, very scary looking in the first 30 minutes to an hour, especially because all I hear is just her voices in her head calling her out to something, and I just keep walking and walking and running, going through the crevices and caves and things that matter. And I go up against these guys who are in her mind. All of it is in our mind, fighting these guys with like the goat heads or some sort of bird head or something like that. It looks weird, and these guys look jacked and shit like that. He's about to kill her, and I have to go against two of them, and I feel like killing the other guy, and you have to start over. If you would continue into you want to continue where you left off, you develop some sort of disease, whatever, inside your mind or whatever, and the more you lose those fights or those encounters or trip to fall, whatever, the more likely you'll start from the beginning and you go through the same thing over and over if you're not careful. And that's very weird and very painstakingly interested. That's like you gotta make sure to keep her calm, keep her steady. Don't try to overdo it. Just take your time with the fights. Because I felt similar to what she went through when I was younger. I was diagnosed with mental illness back in 2010. So hearing voices or hearing the TV talking to me or some shit like that, like it has to be like a catalyst. It has to be something like an audio retraction of sorts. Like it's like you have to, especially in 2016. I was like really seeing things and hearing things without my medication and all. And if you're not careful, if you don't have the right support, then you just end up in dead. We end up dead or in jail or prison time, whatever. It depends on how you look at perception. It's all about perception of reality. And if you don't have the proper treatment, the proper steadiness, the proper guidance, and also support, then you should be in an endless cycle of madness. And back in those days, to the BC times into the Black Plague and all that stuff, up to Black Plague and all, we didn't have proper doctors looking into mental illness like this, in a sense. By the 1500s, they started talking about multiple personality disorders and and schizophrenia, things that matter. So they were developing, not developing, they were researching constantly why people are acting so mad. And that's how it is when wars and aggressions turn out to be every few years, popping all over the world before the 20th century, 21st century to be more exact, because there was no control over these people. They were just acting mad and crazy and desperate and destitute in this weird reality of like, you want to just kill and destroy or to defend and to defend your honor or defend something. And it was like, it's again a madness within. And I'm stable right now, obviously. I'm taking a medication, so I'm going to therapy whenever I can. But this is like what happened back during those times when Senua was exploring those areas, wherever the country is she was in. They didn't have any of that support back then. So I'm glad that they're showing the heinous side, the horrible side of mental illness, or if you want to call it like that, back then. So that's all I gotta say. But we played the trailer anyway to see what I'm talking about. So.
Okay. So I'll put so everyone sees watching this playback can see the trailer too.
Yep.
Oh, it's like a 5-minute trailer.
I saw the 2-minute trailer.
Trailer too. Oh, it's like a 5-minute trailer.
I saw the 2-minute trailer.
She can feel them slipping through her soul, following the threads of her mind. She's here to find them. The ones who hide. She needs their help with a promise. A question. But it's never so simple, is it? Wisdom has a price. There's always a part of you that changes. A part of you that darkens. And a part of you that dies. Over there, that pool. I can feel them. Feel them everywhere. The lost ones. They are watching us. You should never have come here. They can see us. What is going to happen? It's time to find out. How can we make it happen? It's time to find out. Why are they watching? It's time to find out. What are they waiting for? Senwa, what are you waiting for? I'm here. Watching more than one. they want? I don't like it. I'm scared. This is too much.
Mad woman.
Their eyes everywhere. You can feel them boring into her.
Witch.
What is she supposed to do? Do something.
Oh,
Ask
yeah.
them. What do you want me to do?
Lost souls fall through hell to find us.
You were lost. Not anymore.
Are you ready for what you will find here?
What we will find. What if it's all for nothing? What is that? They are waiting. It's them. It's you. What will they do to her? What will we do to us? Touch it. Feel your mind, your voices, all the parts of you that are broken. You can be whole. All the grief, all the rage, all the fear, everything I've seen, everything I've done has led me to this place. We've come so far, not far enough. Say it. You are ready. Tell them. I am here. Now. What if we get lost forever? What will happen to them? What will happen to you? I will not let them down. She is ready. They know. Go.
Okay.
Who are these around you, Senua?
Kind of weird.
Safe. Or those you let
Uh,
to death?
But ready to move on?
Oh yeah, that's it's got a good refresher.
Alright.
It's the trailer itself I saw. I could have sworn it was at least 2 minutes long, but it was 4 to 5 minutes. So it's in depth. You know, it's man, it's like a woman versus herself kind of situation.
Yeah.
And, you know
The
that.
antagonist is from within instead of outside.
Yep, and you know, mental illness is no joke. You know, it can be worse than actual physical pain at times, and you know, psychologically, that's what's going on with certain experiments back in the 50s and 60s, like MK Ultra that you be hearing with the CIA and stuff like that. So it's you know, it's amazing. It's the mind is a powerful tool, and it only you within your mind. It's the containment of everything within, and just it can come outward into your own eyes, into your own being. You know, it's pretty good, guys. You should try to play Hellblade, at least the first Hellblade, for a while. So
Okay.
yeah,
All right. I really don't have anything to say about the trailer other that we haven't already said. So, are you ready to move on?
yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next. Obsidian's Avowed gameplay comes out swinging. Today, Xbox Showcase gave us a first meaningful look at Avowed, the upcoming fantasy RPG on the way from the team at Obsidian. The game is set in the universe established by the Pillars of Eternity, a world called Eora. However, unlike those prior games, this game is likely to draw more direct comparisons to titles like the Elder Scrolls games or the gameplay perspective of Obsidian's other successful franchise, The Outer Worlds. The new trailer shows an impressive series of first-person encounters in which we see the lead character wielding both medieval weaponry and firearms, along with a potent selection of spells to capture and destroy foes. The accompanying voiceover suggests that the story involves the lead character traveling to an area of Eora called the Living Lands, a part of the world established in the Pillars game as a diverse island to the north characterized by strange weather patterns and strange creatures. The player character arrives as an envoy of the Emperor of Aiudo to look into rumors of an unnatural plague. Avowed is coming to Xbox and PC. Check out the full trailer below. I'm guessing you already checked out this trailer?
A little bit of it, most likely, yeah.
Okay, so anything worth checking out in your opinion, or
I can't remember that specific trailer though. If you want to play it again, that's fine.
okay? I'll play it then. Here we go. Here we go.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
People don't like you very much, do they? Sent here to the living lands by an emperor who couldn't bother to come himself. To investigate some plague that seems to be corrupting our very souls. We want us to trust you. But the truth is, you scare us. The way you fight. The power you wield. The secrets you keep. You're either here to save us or destroy us. So now that you have all this power, what are you gonna do with it?
All right, I'll wait till Dr. Games 101 is done.
Pretty good trailer as always.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm like cough for these past several minutes now. Sorry, guys.
Damn, did you catch something?
I don't know. We turned the fan on a bit to get some breeze. Well, I'll be fine for now.
Okay. Yeah, so honestly, this game looks like something I'd be interested in playing. It's kind of got a couple things from different games that I like. You know, you got the Undead Army from Medieval. You got the powers that you possess. It's kind of like BioShock Infinite with the different vigors you have. So this is definitely a game I'd love to try. Forge Your Destiny also seems like it seems like this game won't have a linear ending. You know, there'll be at least a couple of different endings, depending how you play, I guess. That's the way it looked. It looks like you can either be the savior or the destruction, which makes me definitely interested in this game. So I'll be definitely keeping tabs on Avowed for the Xbox. It's going to be on Game Pass, so even if it's just for Xbox Series, we'll be able to try it if it's on the cloud. Anything you want to say about it?
No, I'm good for now.
All right, so yeah, I definitely am interested in this game. So I guess we'll move on.
Yep.
Okay. Next. Ichiban bears all and first look at like a dragon infinite wealth. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, the newly subtitled 8th entry in the series, formerly known as Yakuza, got a new trailer that showed off a lot more than we bargained for. By that we mean we get a very intimate look at Yakuza Like a Dragon hero Ichiban Kusuga, who awakens on the beach seemingly with no idea as to how he got there. To make matters worse, he's completely naked. A fact the shocked beachgoers waste no time bringing to his attention. Your guess is as good as ours to what trouble the lovable ex-gang enforcer has gotten into this time. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is scheduled to launch in early 2024 for PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Its Kiryu-focused prequel, Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, was recently confirmed to launch on November 9th. So, this is... hold on. The prequel is the one we talked about earlier, and then this one's coming out. See, this is what I was more interested in finding about. I'm not going to play the trailer, even though they probably make it like Monty Python style. But yeah, this is Ichiban Kasuga was the guy you played in Yakuza Like a Dragon. So yeah, it's his story basically. I wanted to find out more about. But the Man Who Erased His Name, I don't know. I don't know if these two are going to be. They said that the Man Who Erased His Name is a prequel to this one, and Yakuza Like a Dragon is a prequel to the Man Who Erased His Name. So, it sounds like two sequels are coming out around the same time.
Right.
Anything you got to say about this?
I saw the trailer. It's pretty funny.
Okay. I'm just not going to take that. Was there anything obscene, or was it just like all implied?
It was a lot of nakedness, but it obviously to cover him up, obviously, to cover up that part, his part. So it's
okay.
Yeah, it was like PG-13 at the same time, rated R. It's nothing. Just it was funny at the same time. It's like try to keep it censored, of course. Obviously, that's a good thing.
Yeah, well, no one wanted to see him bare all.
Yeah, that's extremely rare at that moment too. That's like a rated A for adult shit right there.
All right, so that's what I was when we talked about Yakuza, the Man Who Erased His Name. That's what it. So I'm guessing we can confirm the both Yakuza games coming out are going to be about Ichiban's story. Ichiban is the protagonist in Yakuza Like a Dragon. So yeah, that again, I'm interested in that, but I'm also interested in getting Yakuza Like a Dragon so I can finish the game because I was only halfway through it.
Right.
But yeah, depending on how Yakuza Like a Dragon ends, I'll be interested in trying out both of the sequels that are. I'm not just surprised releasing two sequels at the same time.
Yeah, it is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's like you release chapter 1. It's like I'm trying to think of a 3-part game. It's like if BioShock came out, but then BioShock 2 and it doesn't work. But you get what I'm saying. It's like take Final Fantasy 13. Final Fantasy 13 comes out, it's great, everyone loves it, but then Final Fantasy 13-2 and Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns came out the same year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's just what's strange to me.
Mm-hmm.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, ready.
All right. Next. Story content comes to Overwatch 2 this August. At today's Xbox Showcase, Blizzard announced that Overwatch 2 Invasion, a huge update on Overwatch 2, is coming on August 10th. The update will bring the shooter's long-awaited story content along with co-op events and a new mode, Flashpoint. Check out the full trailer below. Overwatch 2 was originally created to add this new content to the beloved hero shooter, but months went by without any updates on story or player versus enemy game modes. Last month, the developers updated the community with the news that they wouldn't be able to deliver the content initially planned, specifically the hero mode with dedicated talent trees. Overwatch Invasion is the first wave of the content that remains. Overwatch 2 is available on PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Have you played Overwatch?
Yeah, I played the first Overwatch. I bought a copy of it many years ago for like $50, $60 for Overwatch 1. And when Overwatch 2 came out, it was a big update of itself. And it wasn't much of a difference after that, after Overwatch 2 came out. Because obviously they screwed up on the player versus everyone content that was released sometime this year. But unfortunately, they had to cancel that. So hopefully the story content will continue as planned. And if not, then Overwatch is going to be pretty much dead after that. I mean, it's already dead to begin with when Overwatch 2 came out because of its stupid sequel update, you want to call it like that. It wasn't no big difference. It was just the same Overwatch you had played beforehand. And, it's still the loot boxes are still there and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, what was the purpose of the sequel? They left the Overwatch as Overwatch 1.5 or something of that sort, and that's about it. Leave it at that. But no, they want an actual sequel instead of a separate game of a separate entity of itself. It just doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah. I mean, I never played the first Overwatch, but I do. Didn't we talk about this in previous episodes of the podcast about them having all this content but not being able to release it for some reason?
Yeah, they canceled it sometime this month. The Play versus Everyone content.
Okay. Yeah. So we did discuss this in the past, but it's now it's coming out. New content is coming out, but in the form of a sequel instead of like DLC or whatever.
It isn't still well. Overwatch 2 has been a Overwatch 2 for months now. It's just that now they're finally doing something different as far as they could give out the Play versus Everyone content. Now they're doing story content. That's what I hear. So
Okay.
It sounds like it's mismatching, it's hit and miss, and that's all they did. That's all what the company did to the Overwatch game. They butchered it up to a point where it's like it's not a sequel, but it is a sequel. It's not an update, but it is an update, and it's like, which one is it? Like we can't. I don't see the hype of the matter. I don't see the only difference is like the new characters. That's about it. But that's like later on after Overwatch 2 came out, because you can't play the first Overwatch game at all. To this point, right now, you have to play Overwatch 2. That's all it was. A big update. That was it. So,
okay,
that was ridiculous. Because Overwatch 1, regardless of their loot boxes, system, it was still good to play at times.
Right.
So.
Okay. So. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So, and Overwatch 2 will be coming out later this year. So.
No, it's already out. Overwatch 2 is
it is out.
It's been out for a while. I just saying the fact that the story content is coming out.
Oh, the story content's coming out. I got you.
Because the Play versus Everyone was supposed to come out this month, if I recall correctly.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, Overwatch 2 is still Overwatch 2 right now. It's just that it's just an updated version of first Overwatch. That's all it is. It wasn't that amazing or grandiose. It was just they fucked it up.
All right.
Wasted $60 on my game to make it. That can't play a game that wasted $60 on to play it over and over, but they're gonna have to butcher it up to make it updated to Overwatch 2. Doesn't make any sense at all.
Okay. So, ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next. Keanu Reeves introduces the latest Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty expansion trailer. Keanu Reeves appeared in the Xbox game showcase to introduce the new trailer for Cyberpunk 2077's new Phantom Liberty expansion, featuring Idris Elba. The trailer expectedly features Reeves' Johnny Silverhand doing the thing he does in the main game, as well as Elba's character talking about the nature of politics in Cyberpunk's Grey World. The trailer also shares lots of new gameplay footage and impressive new vehicles, action, and content. Phantom Liberty releases on September 26th. I guess they're not letting Cyberpunk 2077 die. Because they're adding new content, which on one hand is good, but they should have released a good game in working condition when it came out. And it's almost like they're hoping the new content will bring players in when they've already been burned the first time they tried Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, but the console players, we console players, at least the majority, no offense to you guys, it's just that we're very gullible and also less advanced in the knowledge of what a true game product is. Because back in the decades, back in was it 1990s and all, especially 1990s, that was the best the decade for console gaming. PlayStation One and Dreamcast and later on the next decade PS2 and all. That was like one of the best years of the home console gaming. And we bought the console for the sake of playing games on an affordable and more dedicated software, dedicated system, performance software and hardware. So they have to, balance it out the niche audience from the overall audience. It's they screwed up the makers of Cyberpunk 2077. They should know better than to try to continue adding more content to it. Knowing that they had a horrible launch and not many people buying it, even though it was on sale for was it $35 on Amazon back in 2021, 2020? Like early 2021, it was like $35 on sale. I'm like, wow. But I want to wait until it's on sale for $15, $20, So it's a mess,
They just can't let it die for some reason.
They should have let the game be, they fix it up, whatever, for future players, and that's about it. Don't add anything else to the game. Wait until another sequel to it, or the Cyberpunk game, whatever, So,
right. Okay, ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next. Still Wakes the Deep is the next game from the Chinese room. Today, during the most recent Xbox game showcase, we got a first look at Still Wakes the Deep, the new game from the Chinese room, developer of Everybody's Gone to the Rapture and Dear Esther. Check out the announcement trailer below. According to a press release, Still Wakes the Deep puts you in the shoes of an offshore oil rig worker fighting for his life through a vicious storm, perilous surroundings, and the dark, freezing North Sea waters. It's a narrative horror game, a genre the Chinese room hasn't explored since 2013 with Amnesia, A Machine for Pigs. Okay, should I play the trailer?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Here it goes.
Peggy 18.
Here it goes. Okay, I'll wait till Dr. Games 101 is done.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like okay, I guess we're not so sure. I would like to see what was chasing the player. To be honest,
Try to it's a teaser trail. That's all it is. The tease us. I guess.
Yes, the teaser trail, and something like a pink Barney comes out as the reveal.
I love you. You love me. Let's
if you were alone on a ship like that, and that's what came out, and it's saying "I love you," I guess that could be a little scary.
Yeah, or Barbara like, I love you and you love. He makes it like Gary Newman and shit like that.
Yeah, so it's like I said, interesting. Yes, I've never heard of the Chinese Room as a game developer or Amnesia: A Machine for Pigs.
Amnesia's been out for a while. It's already two games.
But there's a few different titles out for Amnesia.
Okay.
I think there was at one point 2 on Game Pass.
Yes, there still are. Last time I checked.
Okay, yeah. So but like A Machine for Pigs. It's just a title that's like, huh?
Let's say like pork and like that's a pork fried rice with your rice and all. And I don't know. I mean, hey.
Okay.
I mean, I got started the piggies, to get the pork fried rice, piggy. Yeah,
I say that because I have nothing else to say.
Yes, I love pork fried rice. I wish I could have it every day. Unfortunately, I can't. So piggy has to wait.
You probably do have it every day.
I wish I did. But it's too salty pork, and it's a filthy animal pig. So it's like a once in a while treat, for me. Because back when I was younger, my aunts and my grandmother, they'll make like pig's feet every so often, and they taste delicious after a while too.
All right. So yeah, Still Wakes the Deep. It's interesting, but unfortunately, I want to see more before I'm committed either way.
Yeah, I hope there's some pigs involved. Add some pig's feet,
Okay, I guess you're ready to move on.
I'm thinking about food right now. I'm sorry. I just had pizza earlier too, so.
Pig with pig's feet on them?
Unfortunately, no. Although that'd be a nice recipe to put on if I were on a pizza shop, call it pig's feet pizza. Oh yeah.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next. Microsoft reveals 1 terabyte SSD Xbox Series X. For those in the market for an Xbox Series S with more storage, Microsoft has unveiled a 1 terabyte SSD model of the console that launches on September 1st. This carbon black version of the slimmer Xbox boasts roughly double the storage of its original white counterpart. That also means it's more expensive, retailing for $100 more at $349. As a reminder, the Xbox Series S is a digital-only console, meaning it lacks a disk drive. It's also weaker than the $500 Series X, but even this new version remains a decent budget option for those looking to enter the current generations of gaming. What do you think of this new version of the Series S? Let us know in the comments. So, what do you think of 1 terabyte Xbox Series S?
Well, it's very affordable. It was $349 last time I checked on the trailer of the Xbox Showcase. But it won't be available until like September or October. So it's kind of
they said September 1st.
Okay, so I gotta wait at least like 3 months later for the matter, and that's so not long, but obviously it's just enough time to save some money up to buy one. If I save like $50 every month or $100 every month, I should be able to afford it by then. But definitely by then.
Yeah. But would you be happy with a disc-less digital-only console, or?
I like to have my disc though.
Yeah, me too.
Especially if all my Xbox Ones got like put out, like it just no longer works anymore. At least I have the upgraded model of the Xbox Series S, and put the disc in. I play Blu-ray, play DVDs.
Yeah.
Audio.
Yeah, because my Xbox One doubles as my Blu-ray player also.
Oh yeah. So it's not bad to have. I prefer the Xbox One X. Yeah,
but that's at 500. So
549 actually, but
Okay. But would the 1 terabyte disk storage space make a difference, or?
It's like so little. the 1 terabyte. I was expecting 2 terabytes. What they did with Xbox One S, they had a 2 terabyte console for like $349 back 3-4 years ago. But that was back then before Xbox Series systems came out. So, more power to the people who could afford it.
Right. Okay, so yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm in the same boat as Dr. Games 101. While it sounds like a great price, it's something I could definitely afford, especially with my job. Well, I would have other bills to pay, but it's again, I like my Xbox One disc based games, so it would be hard to, even with the great price and the disc drive. With the disc drive being gone and it all having to be digital based games, it'd be hard to commit to overlook the discless disc drive. I'm just saying.
Right.
I prefer to have the disc, even if if the game is all online or whatever. I'd rather the disc, having the disc isn't a deal breaker, but if it comes down to not having a disc drive or having a disc drive, I'd rather have the disc drive. I'd rather have the option.
Mm-hmm.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, ready.
All right. Next. Clockwork Revolution is a time-bending steampunk RPG from the makers of Wasteland. Clockwork Revolution made its debut today at Xbox Game Showcase via a trailer that set the stage for its steampunk-flavored RPG action. The first-person adventure puts you in control of a woman bailing from the steam-powered Victorian city of Avalon, who discovers a time machine, along with the revelation that the city and its brutal oppression of the lower class is the result of intricate time manipulation by the villainous Lady Ironwood. To set things right, you'll travel back to key moments in the past where your actions have a butterfly effect on Avalon's future. Hopping between the past and ever-changing present shows off the game's complex choice-driven storytelling and reactive role-playing, as you'll meet various versions of characters depending on how you tinker with time. This sounds interesting. This game is described featuring a deep narrative-driven world while the action unfolds in the form of first-person gunplay using steam-powered firearms as well as time-bending technology, such as reversing the time flow of objects. Clockwork Revolution is being developed by In Exile Entertainment, makers of the Wasteland and a Bard's Tale series. It is coming in due time to Xbox Series and PC. It will launch on Game Pass. If you don't mind, I'd like to show the trailer.
Yeah, sure.
Because this look, like I said, I'm interested in this game.
Definitely. You all like it too.
This city is a miracle of progress. A finely tuned, delicately balanced machine. But it only takes one rebellious little gear to ruin everything.
Yeah, with the black lady,
If you resist my rule, if you alter our past,
Yeah, with the black lady,
you threaten what I have built,
Damn.
there is nowhere in space or time where I will not destroy you.
Damn.
Oh no. What did I do?
Any last words before my
Due
friend
time,
puts
so we don't even know if
me
it's
down?
2024 or not. Due time, so we don't even know if it's 2024 or not.
It's gonna be a good game, I bet.
Yeah, okay.
Potentially sneaking.
I gotta say, I can't wait for that game.
Yeah.
That game looks awesome.
Mm-hmm. And with all the, if we're gonna be political for a second here, it looks like it's in regards to how much history has been altered over the decades of our, our, in this country, especially. Of course not in America, but it's like based on the statue you see in the middle of the town square and all, kind of represents Statue of Liberty in a sense. So, in my own little, perspective. So it's kind of like how much more in depth can you go to find out the true history of things.
Right. So, but I mean, that game looks awesome. I'd love to see what you tinker with in the past, how it changes the present. So yeah, I mean, I can't. Unfortunately, there's no you saw the trailer. It says in due time, so there's no release date and there's no year yet. But I'm definitely good. I'm definitely want to keep that. Be looking out for that game when it comes out.
Okay. Obviously, I have to include the black lady as the rebel. I'm like, God damn it! I can't go again.
At least she's not a ghetto woman.
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna turn this shit around.
Yeah, with like the big hair and like
the braids, not the braids, the weave and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God. Thank the fuck Christ they put that in. There'd be some revolution over here from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like to move on
If you want to destroy my interest in the game, make it that kind of woman as the protagonist.
Yeah.
The one who shakes the finger and goes.
Yeah.
Ready to move on?
Especially 1990s and 2000s. That was something, alright. Shit, dude. Yeah.
Ready to move on?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, before we get in trouble by the social justice police.
Yes. And be crucified and shit like that. Like, how could you, Dr. Games? You're a black too. I was like, no, you fucked around and find out the hard way amazing things in life.
Anyway, new Starfield trailer sets orbital expectations. Few games in recent memory carry the weight of expectation quite as heavily as Starfield. As the new game from the Bethesda team that once worked on Skyrim and Fallout 4, it's a game that has a lot of anticipation surrounding it. The new trailer does little to dissuade that excitement, showcasing space exploration, first-person combat, and a sweeping sci-fi story heavy with gravitas and mystery. We're getting more info as we speak through a dedicated show all about Starfield. Ahead of here's the new trailer. Starfield is heading to Xbox and Series and PC on September 6th. I'm really not interested in a space exploration game. Are you looking forward to Starfield, or is it just because Xbox has so much riding on it?
Well, it's their last ace in the hole, in my perspective, for 2023. If they can't launch a good game after for this year, then it's like, then for next year it's gonna be like a restart of expectations, meaning that once until Starfield it passes with a good flying colors, then they might get into the nitty gritty of greatness in a sense, but perhaps not overthrow, but to outcompete Sony and Nintendo most likely. But at this rate, though, it's we're not sure yet. I mean, Redfall was horrible launch. There was a horrible launch, as far as having 30 frames per second, and even though you get 4K Ultra HD and stuff whatever it's called, it wasn't that great at 30 frames per second. Because I hear that the higher the frame rate, the more like you react better to the gameplay. And so it's kind of like, it sucks that it's not all that great. Redfall and Starfield is the coming of the matter after Redfall. So it's kind of like if this year doesn't cut it, then other years will cut it as well for the Xbox brand, in my perspective. Even if it looks like good games coming out in 2024, like the Clockwork or the new Microsoft Series S terabyte hard drive console and stuff like that, or even the new Cyberpunk expansion, you want to call it like that. So by all means, it's up to Starfield if they want to make it good or not. In my perspective.
Yeah, after the disastrous release of Redfall, I agree. Starfield, it's the highest profile game that's coming out that we've heard of. And if it fails, it's going to hurt Xbox for a long time. Mm-hmm. Having back-to-back bombs with Redfall and Starfield, with Redfall and Starfield being expected to carry Xbox for the next year at least.
Oh yeah, and not to mention the fact that the Xbox brand itself, it went through a good cycle in Xbox 360. Xbox One had a unusual, successful at the same time not so good launch with its DRM that's revealed later on over the years, even after people protested somehow or boycotted against the Xbox console back in 2013 to 2015. And then by 2018, 2019, we see more DRM in our consoles. Now it's like it was meant to happen no matter what. It's like the replacement of the PC disc with the code that's not embedded but included in the packaging of your game. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to maintain that piracy, to reduce that to as much as possible. But it's going to create an opposite effect of that too. So I guess my point is the fact that Xbox they had many times over for how many years, from Halo Infinite to Anthem. These games were fail at the fail. Yes, the Halo Infinite was okay launch, but the content was not there for a while now, until now with Season 4 and all. And even when Season 4 came out, your rank system doesn't count towards your actual account. So, in other words, they just fucked up and try to fix it all at the last minute, and it's too late. It happened too many times already. Now, as far as people still buying these games, yes, the Clockwork game that we just talked about the other minute and all, it was good. The Clockwork Revolution, it looks good, but we're not sure if it's gameplay yet. So even though it's
right,
I can't explain it. There's something about where it creates this discouragement, more of discouragement than less of a stressing, of the product. That's
I kind of understand. It's like take the Clockwork Revolution game. It's exciting at first, and it's like appealing, but at the same time, the track record of what Microsoft has done or has released over the time is like, a lot of people were excited over Redfall too.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully Starfield. So I think it's going to be in Microsoft. It's going to be in dire straits for Microsoft for the next few years if Starfield fails.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Ready to move on?
Yep.
All right. Next. Got more Starfield. Starfield's direct showcase promises a massive space adventure. For all its time in development, and gamers being aware of its existence, a trademark for the name was uncovered in 2013. Explicit details about Starfield have mostly been light. We've known it is a sci-fi game about traveling between planets from the creators of Skyrim for some time. But during Microsoft Xbox Game Showcase, Bethesda pulled back the curtain in a big way. Alongside showing plenty of gameplay, covering everything from walking around densely populated cities to exploring unpopulated planets to combat inside and outside of spaceships, Bethesda detailed some of the game's story and impressive customization options. Like past Bethesda games, you will find plenty of stories off the main path, but during the 45-minute presentation, we learned about an organization called Constellation that will be driving the main story of the game. The group is a mythical one, though inspired by many that consider themselves the last true explorers of the galaxy. They are trying to answer humanity's biggest remaining questions. They have discovered some strange alien technology, and for some reason it seems to be connecting to you, the player character. The artifact spoke to you for some mysterious reason, and as a result, Constellation wants you to explore it further. What that means in terms of player direction is you must enter space to figure things out and do basically whatever you want along the way. In Starfield, New Atlantis is a massive populated city under the jurisdiction of the United Colonies. There are other cities under that umbrella, but there are also other metropolises that exist outside that space. These are the three-star collective planets and cities which function more like the Wild West. In fact, footage of these locations look more like Fallout locations than futuristic sci-fi hubs, and going even further outside the bounds of civilized space, as Bethesda refers to it, are unclaimed planets and systems to explore. Bethesda promises there are more than 1,000 planets in the game, and as you scan them and land on them, randomized elements affecting layout and creatures will make sure your experience on a certain planet will be different than that of a friend over on their own Starfield save file. If you're more interested in designing your own fun than seeing what's out in the universe for you, Bethesda showcased the impressive customization options, which start with your player character. Character creation tools are improved from Bethesda's past efforts, and you can also define your character's backstory and select optional traits to further personalize your character. Some unexpected optional traits include picking your religion, which dictates how you interact with certain groups, or electing to have a superfan join your crew who could be an obnoxious but helpful stalker, a clear reference to Oblivion's adoring fan character. You can even elect to send money home to your parents, which makes them become actual characters you can visit. Along with overhauling its character creation tools to make yourself look however you want, you can also customize your spaceship, crew, homes, and outposts on other planets and your weapons. You can purchase a spaceship at any port and customize and upgrade it with new parts, but even those individual parts can be customized, upgraded, and in some cases reshaped. Bethesda showed ships that look like your typical cool spaceships, but it also showed ships that look animals, and one particularly strange ship that looked like an awkward squat mech. It took off and flew into space despite its odd shape. The customization and building options are an evolution of the tools. Hold on. Whoa. Sorry, scrolled too much. Mm-hmm. The customization and building options are an evolution of the tools first introduced in Fallout 4, where players can make their own outposts. But in Starfield, you can build them from a new overhead perspective and then make smaller design changes by zooming in close. The biggest takeaway from everything Bethesda showed in that Starfield is a massive game. Looking closely at individual elements of the latest footage also showed impressive combat, jetpack maneuverability, and exciting space dogfights. But it's hard not to zoom out to try and fathom just how massive Starfield will be. Bethesda shared bullet points, like how New Atlantis is the biggest city it has ever built and how many planets there are, but I feel we won't have a true sense of the scale until you enter into space and see how far you can fly. It's an intimidating universe, but one we're excited to explore. Alright, so have your opinions on Starfield changed since I read that?
Well, Starfield, like I said, it's the ace in the hole. It's only a matter of time to see how the game is. There was a showcase after show, if you want to call it like this, it's called Starfield Extended or something like that. Starfield Project, whatever it's called. It's like about last for about 30 minutes, 20 minutes after the end of the original showcase with 2023 of Xbox. So I didn't see that part yet. I'll try to save it for another day. But right now it looks like it's just details like they try to show like they did with Halo 5's promo back with their Halo channel and all. So it's only a matter of time to see how good the game is overall, of its performance. I was told too by other gamers online that it will be 30 frames per second for this game. So it's kind of like, what's the point of having a Series X? Just get buy an Xbox One S and play cloud gaming. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I have to bring up another game, No Man's Sky. Mm-hmm. That was supposed to be a big exploration game. And yeah, true, they turned it around and made it worth owning, at least according to other players. But when it first came out, it was bare bones.
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think people are going to be interested in exploring Fallout cities that look like they belong in Fallout.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, you know, the it's just too many things. And like you said, now that's going to be 30 frames per second. It's like, what's the point? You know, all signs are pointing to this being another disappointment.
Yeah.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, ready.
All right. Next. Phil Spencer gives update on Activision Blizzard acquisition efforts. During an Xbox panel called What's Next for Gaming, head of Xbox Phil Spencer was asked by the moderator for the current status of the drawn-out process of attempting to acquire Activision Blizzard. So it's been a long journey, Spencer said. I have to admit that when we started this, some of us up here more than 18 months ago were thinking about where our strategy was and what we could add on our capability. That Activision Blizzard King acquisition, I'll just be honest, it's been a real learning experience for me in a good way. And so many people up here, head of Xbox Game Studios, Matt Booty, and corporate vice president Sarah, have spent a lot of time leading and strategizing and thinking about where we are. You think about progress as a company. I think there are 40 countries that approved the deal, and there's 2 countries that were really focused on getting approval. Those are the kind of the 2 that are in front of us. I'd say the company, Microsoft, which is obviously important when you're thinking about spending $70 billion, which is crazy to think about, they're very committed, Spencer confirmed. We are very committed. We think there's real capability that Activision Blizzard King has specifically in mobile and PC, and just growing our portfolio that will help us find more players and reach more players. The work is ongoing, but we remain confident where we think about the work. We're out there to find solutions with the regulators that have questions, and that's what we're actively doing from Brad Smith, who is our chief counsel at the company, Sarah spending a lot of time on the road with regulators. We're trying to get to solutions. We did that with the European Commission, and I'm confident that we'll find solutions for other areas as well. It's taking time. It's taking focus, but I'm confident. Xbox's intention to acquire Activision Blizzard was first announced in January of 2022, but the acquisition has been in process in the time since, with several speed bumps along the way. Okay, I didn't watch it, but Review Tech USA made a video saying he thinks this acquisition is dead in the water. Do you believe that, or?
Here's the situation. It's not entirely over yet for the Xbox and Microsoft to acquire all the rights to other parts of the world, but they might want to sacrifice Europe in order to gain the acquisition, because what I hear is that if Microsoft continues trying to buy the acquisition of Activision Blizzard here in North America and other parts of Asia, etc., but not Europe, I hear that's going to be riots after a while for not being able to play Call of Duty on the PlayStation brand in Europe somewhere. And you know how Europe is. They only have like 2 choices to choose from the mainstream gamers. So that's Call of Duty or FIFA. so it's kind of like, FIFA's the only thing holding everything down in Europe. But if Call of Duty it's gone from the market on the PlayStation game systems, then it's like it's over for PlayStation to begin with. Those billions of dollars in its effort. Yes, I'm sure Microsoft will make a deal, or already try to make a deal, propose a deal to Sony to have a 10-year plan to keep having Call of Duty games on their platform. But still, it's just, I don't understand. Of course, yes, it sounds good on paper to have Microsoft acquire Activision Blizzard and all, but then at the end, it's going to reduce the competition. So it means less competition, less quality, less gameplay quality, and it's like, who cares what Microsoft have to say to the consumer, because the consumer's still buying it for God knows how much, increased price and everything, and then you're making billions of dollars. Why should you listen to us about complaining about the product, So it sucks, it's only a matter of time where it's Phil Spencer's been on an apology tour with Redfall and all, so he started to put his cards properly in proper order in order to make sure this deal goes through somehow, some way.
Yeah. So like I said, I didn't watch Review Tech USA, where he said the deal is basically dead. I don't believe it's basically dead. I think I think Phil Spencer would have. I mean, he's still showing messages of. He's still showing expressing optimism about it. So, I mean, I know he has to do that as the head of Xbox, but it seems like, with the 40 countries that approved it and just Europe and USA being the two that denied it, and really USA didn't deny it yet. It's just going to a hearing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, if the USA accepts it, I think this acquisition can still go through. And for anyone who said that all Europe gamers have is FIFA and Call of Duty, please send all complaints to Dr. Games 101.
Well, actually, I heard of it through a European YouTuber by the name of Pyro Cynical. Now he's called Pyro something now. He has a new channel that he launched last year, or it goes back for a few years, but he never used it until like last year because his other main channel is basically dead. I don't know what happened to his channel, but long story short, he had a situation with YouTube on some sort of age restricted stuff, and basically he had to leave that channel in order to go to the new channel. If I remember correctly, that is. There's more details about it. I just want to give out discredit him right away. So, but he's telling the truth to some extent of what he's been saying for the last few months with the Activision deal. So, yeah.
Okay, or send your complaints to that guy if you can find him.
Yes.
Ready to move on?
I'm ready.
Next. Ubisoft details Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, and reveals December 7th launch date. Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora kicked off Ubisoft Forward with a new trailer providing our best look at the game yet. Frontiers of Pandora followed the narrative blueprint of the films in that you control a Navi to protect your world from militaristic human invaders. The RDA has expanded to the western frontier led by John Mercer, who abducts you and other Navi to groom you into weapons to use against your own people. After being placed into cryosleep, you awaken 15 years later to a new world and must catch up on what's happened to stop the RDA. That involves reconnecting with other tribes and learning what it means to be Navi again, to regain their trust. The game is a first-person adventure where you'll wield native weapons like bows and human firearms, while also riding atop native beasts. The open-world game features several settlements and clans that you'll travel to using bonded mounts, both ground-based and flying, which you can name, feed, and customize. Frontiers of Pandora also supports two-player online co-op. We also got a long-awaited release date. December 7th, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC. If you remember correctly, we looked at an Avatar game a long time ago. Do you remember that?
I remember there was an Avatar sequel after 15 years later. That was crazy.
But do you remember this game, or should I play the trailer?
If you want to play the trailer, that's fine by me. I just want to say, though, is that Avatar had a second movie called Avatar 2, Way of the Water, or some shit like that. And it's like, it looks good visually and all, but it's just the wrong timing. After 15 years later, they finally released the second movie. And they're going to do more movies for this decade as well. So it's kind of like, too little too late. But hey, better late than never, right? So let's watch the trailer if you want. So
Okay. Oh wait, it's a 6-minute, 8-second trailer. We got a lot to get through, so I'm just gonna leave the trailer for another time.
Definitely.
All right, so just let me pull this up, and then yeah. So I mean, I remember some of the trailer that we saw, and I'll get to the question in the chat room in a minute. I do remember some of the trailer we saw. It did look. I think we made jokes like with comparing it to the Smurfs. So I do remember that. But like they said, you have bows and arrows. You have firearms. You'll be riding gigantic beasts, all as weapons. So I like I said, I remember seeing a trailer like a year ago. And I remember seeing gameplay like that. In the chat room, Tokyo Tune, what's your favorite console? Dr. Games 101, would you like to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You go first. I have so many options to choose from.
All right. It's pretty. If you asked me a while before, I would have said Xbox One as my favorite console. But it's a close second is Super Nintendo. Um, it really depends on what you're in the mood to play, and really what you're willing to put up with as far as like online restrictions. Xbox One. It's great with the backwards compatibility of a lot of Xbox 360 games, although not all of them. But Super Nintendo also has game. You can play Game Boy games if you have the Super Game Boy.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think Xbox One just by a hair over Super Nintendo is my favorite console.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Games 101, would you like to go?
It's either the Dreamcast or Xbox One. I'm not sure yet because Dreamcast, I still have my Dreamcast somewhere in my bin over there, collecting dust inside with an open container. I've maintained the hardware in years, and I like the Sonic game, Sonic Adventure, on the Dreamcast, as well as playing the game called D2, where it shows a lot of graphic material, like gore and nudity and drug references. So those are some true games back in the day before people started to dictate the parents are to dictate what games the kids should watch or play on, which doesn't make any sense because they're the ones buying it for them. There's the ESRB board for it. That's another server itself. So I think it's gonna be either Dreamcast or Xbox One. Hard to tell because Xbox One, it has the ability to play DVD players and Blu-ray. I like the feature where I can go on the internet with better. I guess you can have slightly better mechanics. It's not too hard to browse on the internet via this site, so it's not bad. Xbox One has good games like that of Halo Master Chief Collection. That had a horrible launch. Then visually speaking, it was great over the years too to see the progress of games getting better and better visually. But in the gameplay of it and quality overall, the new boxes, it's kind of like a hit and miss. So it's kind of like, I'm fighting between these two consoles. Sorry. So I can't give a definite answer.
All right. So, ready to move on to the next topic?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Thanks for the question. If you got any more, we'll be looking for them in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
X-Defiant Open Beta launches June. Full game later this summer. After a series of closed beta periods, X-Defiant is ready for public testing. Announced today during Ubisoft's Forward, the series-spanning mashup shooter will enter into a brief open beta period later this month from June 21st to the 23rd. The event will be available on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. X-Defiant will properly release this summer. The game is free to play, and while there's no release date yet, Ubisoft did give us a glimpse into what content will be available in the game's early days. Firstly, everything from the beta periods will be available at launch. This includes 14 maps, 5 modes, and 24 weapons. The game's 5 factions, DedSec, Libtard, Phantoms, Echelon, and Cleaners, will be available as well, though you'll have to unlock DedSec through gameplay. We also got a quick look at some of the content coming in the game's first year. There will be 12 new weapons and 12 new maps, which is a pretty significant expansion on the game's existing content, but also 4 entirely new factions. The only clue to each new faction is a series of silhouettes and X-Defiant logo with a different design. For more on X-Defiant, check out our preview, or if you want to see some gameplay, I uploaded a new gameplay today. Are you interested in X-Defiant, or is this just a shooter that doesn't interest you?
I think I saw the trailer through the showcase video. I don't remember all the details, but last time I checked, it looked like something similar to that of Halo mixed in with a little bit of that new game, Splitgate, or whatever it's called, the free-to-play game. So
yeah. Well, they don't have a trailer; they just have photos here. So,
can you show the photos on the screen? Maybe I can see what's going on.
All right. Well, I got display capture on, so so if you can see it on Twitch, let me know when you're there.
I see it now. See these photos.
and this is the second photo.
Okay. All right.
I think this is one of the shooters that we saw in a trailer for not too long ago, where it was like all neon colors. Remember that one?
Yeah.
I think this is that. I'm not sure though. So
All right. Understood. I'm glad.
okay, so just let me get to the next uh, load the next story. We might have to check leave some of these for next time because it's getting pretty late.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, is it okay? Is it okay if we leave everything for next time? Because, like I said, I still want to talk to you about something personal, and
Yeah.
we've
Sure.
already been here. All right, so next, should we do this next week or again 2 weeks from now?
2 weeks from now is better.
All right, so next week, I'm sorry, next week, 2 weeks from now on Saturday. Let me check. June, no, July 1st at 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll pick up where we left off with the Ubisoft showcase, and then and then we'll cover any gaming news that we still haven't covered yet.
Definitely.
I hope you enjoyed this. Please follow me if you did. Anything you want to bring up, Dr. Games 101, before we sign off for tonight?
Yeah, sure. I'll let you guys know that I'm still uploading whenever I can on my gaming channel. Most recently, I uploaded a game called Chorus, and I think I did a gameplay of what's the other gameplay? It's definitely there for recently, so you'll check all the recent content there for updates on my gameplay. And I also been doing Z League for a few months now. That's why I haven't uploaded as much. So feel free to if you want to team up with me or if you want to see my progress, go to zleague.gg and type in my name, Dr. Gaze 101 for my results and stats, stuff like that. So that's all I got to say.
Okay. Thanks for watching us. Thanks for watching the show. Like I said, sorry, but covering two showcases in one night is not easy, especially when you got other stories besides the showcases.
Definitely.
So I hope you enjoyed. Like I said, I hope you'll join us for the next podcast on July 1st at 9 p.m. Eastern. Until then, good night, everyone.
Later, guys. Goodbye.